Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to you wherever you are in the world, and welcome to The Show Must Go Online. I'm Robert Miles, actor, writer, director, and creator of the Shakespeare Deck. This is our fourth show, which means as of tomorrow, we are 1 month old, so thank you for joining us for that special anniversary. Henry VI Part 2 will commence in approximately 15 minutes' time. The first half will run for around 90 minutes. There will then be a 10-minute interval, followed by the second half, which will be approximately 60 minutes long. This show may feature some loud noises. Special thanks to our team, details of whom can be found in the video description below. If you want to play along at home tonight, our game, and this is a good one, is Spot the Titanic Reference. That's Spot the Titanic Reference. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon and select all to get reminders shortly before we go live each week. On social, you can tag me at Rob Miles on Twitter or follow Show Must Go Online on Insta and Facebook. Share your reactions using the hashtag Show Must Go Online. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to our tremendous cast and crew, starting as always with our incredible producer, Sarah Peachy.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm an actor and innovation project manager from Glasgow.
And our cast for tonight's production of Henry VI Part 2, put together by the fabulous Sydney Aldridge casting director. First, playing Richard, Duke of York, Wendy Morgan.
Hello, I'm Wendy Morgan. I'm an actor and I'm based in London.
Queen Margaret, Lynn Favin.
Hi, my name is Lynn Favin. I'm an actress from America, currently getting her MFA in England.
King Henry VI, Will Block.
Hi, my name is Will Block. I'm a professional actor currently based in Los Angeles, California.
Duke of Gloucester, Lynsey Beauchamp.
Hi, it's Beauchamp actually.
Oh.
I'm Lynsey Beauchamp and I divide my time between London and Los Angeles.
Amazing. Duke of Suffolk, Jack Baldwin.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm an actor and I live just outside of London.
Earl of Warwick, Alix Dunmore.
Hi, I'm Alix. I'm a professional actor living in London.
Duchess Eleanor of Gloucester, Seeta Indrani.
Hi, I'm Seeta. I'm a UK-based actor.
Cardinal Beaufort, David Ellis.
Hi there, I'm David Ellis, and I'm a professional actor, writer and comedian from Bedford and working in London.
Earl of Salisbury, Christopher Marino.
Hi, I'm Christopher Marino. I'm a professional actor and director based in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Jack Cade, Doireann May White.
Hi, I'm Doireann May White. I'm an Irish actor based in London.
Duke of Buckingham, Lachlan Mccall.
Hi, I'm Lachlan Mccall. I'm an actor based in London.
Duke of Somerset, Ard Tamimi.
Hello everyone, I'm Ad Tamimi. I'm a professional actor from Iceland.
And as our ensemble for tonight's performance, first of all, Ali Poole.
Hello, I'm Ali. I'm an actor based in the US and London.
Benjamin McFadden.
Hi, my name is Benjamin McFadden. I'm an actor currently living in Los Angeles, California.
Leslie Wilcox.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I'm a professional actor and I'm based in Stratford-upon-Avon.
Lovely stuff. Patrick McHugh.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I am a professional actor musician based in London.
Candice Handy.
Hi, I'm Candice Handy and I'm a professional actor based in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Celine Hasso.
Hi, I'm Celine Hasso. I'm a professional actor based in South London.
Robert Lightfoot.
Hi, I'm Robert Lightfoot. I'm a professional actor based in London.
And our first swing for this evening, Bryony Reynolds.
Hi, I'm Bryony Reynolds. I'm a professional actor based just outside of London.
And finally, as our second swing, and Richard Plantagenet for tonight's performance, John Defilippo.
I am John Defilippo. I'm from Queens, New York, and I'm an actor.
Thank you so much, everyone. And for those of you watching for the first time, our valiant swings are there in case of technical difficulties or personal emergencies, pulling our actors away, in which case they will swoop in to take over the roles. And returning this week on Foley, it's a delight to welcome Mr. Richard Hand.
Hello, I'm Richard Hand from the University of East Anglia, and I'm a sound specialist.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all so much for giving your time and talent freely to entertain our audience tonight. And now, to introduce the play, I'm delighted to welcome our special guest for this evening, Charlene V Smith. Charlene is a director, actor, and scholar from the Washington, D.C. area. She has an MLit and MFA in Shakespeare and Performance from Mary Baldwin University in partnership with the American Shakespeare Centre. Her article, Margaret of Anjou, Shakespeare's Adapted Heroine, appears in the Palgrave Handbook of Shakespeare's Queens. Charlene is the co-founder and artistic director of Brave Spirits Theatre, a feminist Shakespeare company located in Alexandria, Virginia. Her directing credits for Brave Spirits include Coriolanus, Antony and Cleopatra, Richard III, The Two Noble Kinsmen, and more. Brave Spirits is currently in the middle of a 2-year project to become the first professional American theatre company to fully produce Shakespeare's 2 history tetralogies and perform them in repertory. Next year, she will be appearing in the project as Margaret of Anjou. Charlene, the play is Henry VI, Part 2, and the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much to Sarah and Robert for having me, and to Ben Crystal for inviting me to nerd out about one of my most favorite plays from the era, Henry VI, Part 2 by William Shakespeare. Or, as I am titling this introduction, Henry VI, Part 2 by William Shakespeare? So the textual history of this play is full of questions. In the time we have, I can't really go through all the theories that have been put forth about when and how this play was written, but I'm going to attempt a brief overview. I started giving a question mark to today's play even being called the second part of Henry VI. And that is because that title we know from the first folio, published in 1623, which also includes the subtitle, With the Death of the Good Duke Humphrey. A shorter and somewhat varied version of this play appeared prior to that in 1594 with the title, going back, there it is, the first part of the contention betwixt the 2 famous houses of York and Lancaster, with the death of the good Duke Humphrey and the banishment of the death of the Duke of Suffolk, and the tragical end of the proud Cardinal of Winchester, with the notable rebellion of Jack Cade and the Duke of York's first claim unto the crown. Now, all that may seem a bit excessive for a title page, but at least you have your plot summary now. Anyway, long story short, in 1619, this play was published along with Henry VI, Part 3, as a 2-part play entitled The Whole Contention Between the 2 Famous Houses, Lancaster and York. And this edition was the first printing to ascribe these plays to Shakespeare. This printing is known as the Pavier quartos, and you don't even want me to get into the story behind those. Anyway, this situation has led to all sorts of speculation about the relationship between these texts and the folio printing, as well as between these 2 plays and the first part of Henry VI. Confusing things even further is that there's an earlier printing of Henry VI, Part 3, that doesn't call it the second part of the contention, but rather the true tragedy of Richard, Duke of York. These earlier printings are about 1/3 shorter than the versions that appear in the first folio. And here are some various theories about how all these versions came about, none of which can be concretely proved. Shakespeare wrote both the contention and the true tragedy, and then revised them into 2 and 3 Henry VI. Shakespeare, as a young dramatist, contributed to the contention and the true tragedy with other authors, and then revised them into 2 and 3 Henry VI. Shakespeare wrote only 2 and 3 Henry VI and made no contributions to the earlier versions. Instead of being disparate plays, the contention and the true tragedy are corrupted versions of 2 and 3 Henry VI due to piracy or memorial reconstruction. Perhaps Shakespeare always intended these 3 plays to be a trilogy. Perhaps Shakespeare wrote a 2-part play and then doctored the already existing 1 Henry VI to go with his plays. Perhaps Shakespeare wrote a 2-part play and then composed 1 Henry VI as a prequel. What plain proceeding is more plain than this? Why does even all this matter? You know, why did I spend half the introduction diving into these textual weeds? Well, all of this confusion has actually affected the way these plays are treated in the theater. Stuart Hampton Reeves and Carol Chillington Rudder argue that the history of the Henry VI plays in performance is a history of adaptation, going all the way back to the 1600s. You rarely see these three plays in their entirety, and it's even rare to see them performed individually as standalone pieces. When performed, they are usually part of a larger cycle of history plays and or conflated into less than three plays, as Emer McHugh mentioned last week at that reading. For a quick example, consider the BBC's Hollow Crown TV series. Right, their first season of it, dealing with the 4 plays of the Henriad, was quite successful, but even with that success, they still reduced from 4 episodes to 3 episodes for their second season when tackling Henry VI and Richard III. I think it's interesting to consider the implications of these plays as almost always being presented in adapted form, and the reasoning that practitioners provide for their adaptive moves. And the confusing textual history behind these plays is a big part of it. So for instance, if you look at the introduction of, say, Adrian Noble's The Plantagenets or the Barton Hall Wars of the Roses, these adapter directors legitimize their textual changes because we don't even know how much of these plays Shakespeare wrote, or because these plays are early or, lesser Shakespeare. Practitioners and scholars alike have had a long history of making assumptions about the value of these plays, the Henry VI plays. And so as you listen to this reading, I encourage you to consider, what does it even mean to be lesser Shakespeare? And who gets to decide? Why do we ascribe so much cultural capital to Shakespeare that if another author is discovered to have had a hand in a work, it's automatically considered not as good? Why do we even need to provide a reasoning to adapt these plays when, every director performs some number of adaptive moves when creating a performance? And really, are the Henry VI plays any messier than Shakespeare's more famous works like King Lear or Hamlet? I happen to love these 3 plays. So history plays can often get a bad rap as just being a lot of talking, but I encourage you to listen for the heart that is in this play. So what happens in this play? Well, it picks up right when part 1 left off, with peacemaking with France via the marriage of Henry VI and Margaret of Anjou. Henry's uncles and counselors are enraged that this peace treaty has included giving up lands back to France that they won earlier in time. And so the tensions between the English lords break out into bickering and scheming. Margaret partners with the Duke of Suffolk and other lords to wrest power from the acting Lord Protector, Humphrey, the Duke of Gloucester. You may remember from part 1 that Humphrey is in charge of the country because Henry VI was crowned at 9 months old. So everyone kind of gets together and they entrap Humphrey's wife for performing acts of witchcraft. It's a super interesting scene because Eleanor is set up, and yet every prophecy that the spirit delivers turns out to be true. Ooh, spooky. After Eleanor is exiled, Gloucester is accused of treason and then murdered. Suffolk is then banished for his involvement in Gloucester's murder. And while all this is going on, Richard Plantagenet, the Duke of York, plots to assert his family's claim to the throne and gather supporter. Pay attention to his speech about the 7 sons of Edward III. It's one of my favorite moments in the play. He rouses up a mob under Jack Cade to cause unrest and confusion in the kingdom. And though the Cade rebellion is put down and Jack Cade killed, Richard brings an army to England, and in the final act of the play, civil war breaks out between the Yorks and the Lancasters. Watch for the masterful juxtaposition of chaotic crowd scenes and intimate emotional moments. I think to some degree, all of Shakespeare's history plays have these elements, but they are most prevalent in 2 and 3 Henry VI. For example, you'll see the silly fight between Horner and Peter, followed by a retching goodbye scene between Gloucester and Eleanor. In the final scenes of the play, you'll see a lot of chaos and insults flying and everyone on stage going off to battle. And that's followed by young Clifford having a soliloquy on the battlefield as he discovers the body of his father. So the way this play shifts pace is what makes it, to my mind, so dramatically viable. Oh, and then in fact, Act 5, you'll get your first glimpse of the character who will become Richard III, which is pretty exciting. And of course, I wouldn't be me if I didn't say a word or more in praise of my girl, Margaret of Anjou. The largest female role that Shakespeare ever wrote. She appears over 4 plays. He even brings her back for Richard III, a time during which the historical Margaret was living out her final years in France, not still in England. So Henry VI Part 2 opens with her arrival as a young queen to the English court. It quickly becomes apparent that the English aristocracy don't want a woman, especially not a foreign one, to hold any power or to upset the balance of their control over Henry. When Margaret asserts herself, she is told things like, "These are no women's matters." So Margaret has to learn how to navigate a political system that is designed to exclude her. Wonder what that's like. Finally, smack dab in the middle of the play is the greatest love scene that Shakespeare ever wrote. Seriously, I will fight you on this. When Margaret and Suffolk have to bid a tearful goodbye when he is banished. It is gorgeous writing. I look forward to hearing it today. I hope you all do too. All right, my time is up, and I hope you enjoy this reading, and thank you for letting me share my passion for Henry VI Part 2 with you.
Thank you so much for that, Charlene. What a tremendous introduction. And so, without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Henry VI, Part 2. Act 1, Scene 1. Enter King Henry, Duke Humphrey of Gloucester, Salisbury, Warwick, and Cardinal Beauford on the one side, the Queen, Suffolk, York, Somerset, and Buckingham on the other.
As by your high imperial majesty, I had in charge at my depart for France as procurator to your excellence to marry Princess Margaret for your grace, I have performed my task and was espoused, and humbly now, upon my bended knee, in sight of England and her lordly peers, deliver up my title in the Queen to your most gracious hands, that are the substance of that great shadow I did represent, the happiest gift that ever Marquess gave, the fairest queen that ever king received.
Suffolk, arise. Welcome, Queen Margaret. I can express no kinder sign of love than this kind kiss. O Lord, that lends me life, lend me a heart replete with thankfulness.
Great King of England and my gracious Lord, the mutual conference that my mind hath had by day, by night, waking and in my dreams, makes me the bolder to salute my king with ruder terms, such as my wit affords and overjoy of heart doth minister.
Her sight did ravish, but her grace in speech, her words yclad with wisdom's majesty, makes me from wondering fall to weeping joys. Such is the fullness of my heart's content. Lords, with one cheerful voice, welcome my love.
Long live
Queen Margaret.
Queen Margaret.
England's happiness. England's happiness.
Thank you all.
My Lord Protector, so it please your grace, here are the articles of contracted peace between our sovereign and the French King Charles.
Imprimis, it is agreed between the French King Charles and William de la Pole, Marquis of Suffolk, ambassador for Henry, King of England, that the said Henry shall espouse the Lady Margaret, daughter unto Renier, King of Naples, Sicilia, and Jerusalem, and crown her Queen of England ere the 30th of May next ensuing. Item, it is further agreed between them that the Duchy of Anjou and the County of Maine shall be released and delivered over to the King, her father.
Uncle, how now?
Pardon me, gracious lord, some sudden qualm hath struck me at the heart, and mine dimmed mine eyes that I can read no farther.
Uncle of Winchester, I pray, read on.
Item.
It is further agreed between them that the Duchy of Anjou and the County of Maine shall be released and delivered over to the king her father, and she sent over of the King of England's own proper cost and charges without having any dowry.
They please us well. Lord Marquis, kneel down. We here create thee the first Duke of Suffolk, and girt thee with the sword. Cousin of York, we here discharge your grace from being regent in the parts of France till term of 18 months be full expired. We thank you all for this great favour done in entertainment to my princely queen. Come, let us in, and with all speed provide to see her coronation be performed.
People in the wars, did he so often lodge in open field, in winter's cold and summer's parching heat, to conquer France his true inheritance? And did my brother Bedford toil his wits to keep by policy what Henry got? Have you yourselves, Somerset, Buckingham, brave York, Salisbury, and victorious Warwick, received deep scars in France and Normandy, and shall these labours and these honours die?
No,
certainly not.
Well, Henry's conquest, Bedford's vigilance, your deeds of war, and all our counsel die?
No.
Oh, peers of England, shameful is this league, fatal this marriage, cancelling your fame, blotting your names from books of memory, raising the characters of your renown, defacing monuments of conquered France, undoing all as all had never been.
Yeah.
Nephew, what means this passionate discourse, this peroration with such circumstance? For France, 'tis ours, and we shall keep it still.
Aye, uncle, we will keep it if we can, but now it is impossible we should. Suffolk, the new-made duke that rules the roost, hath given the Duchy of Anjou and Maine unto the poor King Renier, whose large style agrees not with the leanness of his purse.
Now by the death of him that died for all, these counties were the keys of Normandy. But wherefore weeps Warwick, my valiant son?
For grief that they are past recovery. For there were hope to conquer them again. My sword should shed hot blood, mine eyes my tears. Anjou and Maine, myself did win them both. Those provinces, these arms of mine did conquer, and are the cities that I got with wounds, delivered up again with peaceful words, mon Dieu.
France should have torn and rent my very heart before I would have yielded to this league. I never read, but England's kings have had large sums of gold and dowries with their wives, and our King Henry gives away his own to match with her that brings no vantages.
She should have stayed in France and starved in France before—
My lord of Gloucester, now you grow too hot. It was the pleasure of the Lord, my king.
My lord of Winchester, I know your mind. 'Tis not my speeches that you do mislike, but 'tis my presence that doth trouble ye. Rancour will out. Proud prelate, in thy face I see thy fury. If I longer stay, we shall begin our ancient bickerings, lordings farewell, and say when I am gone, I prophesied France will be lost ere long.
So, there goes our protector in a rage. Consider, lords, he is the next of blood, an heir apparent to the English crown. Had Henry got an empire by his marriage and all the wealthy kingdoms of the West, there's reason he should be displeased at it. Look to it, lords. Let not his soothing words bewitch your hearts. Be wise and circumspect. He will be found a dangerous protector.
Why should he then protect our sovereign, he being of age to govern of himself? Cousin of Somerset, join you with me, and altogether with the Duke of Suffolk will quickly hoist Duke Humphrey from his seat.
This weighty business will not brook delay. I'll to the Duke of Suffolk presently.
Cousin of Buckingham, though Humphrey's pride and greatness is place grief to us, yet us let watch the haughty Cardinal. His insolence is more intolerable than all the princes in the land beside. If Gloucester be displaced, he'll be protector.
Or thou, or I, Somerset, will be protector, despite Duke Humphrey or the Cardinal.
Pride went before, ambition follows him. While these do labor for their own preferment, behooves it us to labor for the realm. I never saw but Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester, did bear him like a noble gentleman. The haughty Cardinal did I have seen more like a soldier than a man of the church, as stout and proud as he were lord of all, swear like a ruffian, and demean himself unlike the ruler of a commonweal. Warwick, my son, the comfort of my age, join we together for the public good in what we can to bridle and suppress the pride of Suffolk and the Cardinal with Somerset's and Buckingham's ambition. And as we may, cherish Duke Humphrey's deeds while they do tend the profit of the land.
So God help Warwick, as he loves the land and common profit of his country.
And so says York, for he hath greatest cause.
Then let's make haste away and look unto the main.
Unto the main. Oh, father, Maine is lost. That Maine, which by main force Warwick did win, would have kept so long as breath did last. Main chance, father, you meant, but I meant Maine, which I will win from France, or else be slain.
Anjou and Maine are given to the French. Paris is lost. The state of Normandy stands on a tickle point. Now they are gone. Suffolk included on the articles. The peers agreed, and Henry was well pleased to change 2 dukedoms for a duke's fair daughter. I cannot blame them all. What is to them? 'Tis thine they give away, and not their own. So York must sit and fret and bite his tongue, while his own lands and bargained for and sold, Anjou and Maine given unto the French. Cold news for me, for I had hope of France, even as I have of fertile England's soil. A day will come when York shall claim his own, and therefore will I take the Neville's parts and make a show of love to proud Duke Humphrey, and when I spy advantage, claim the crown, for that's the golden mark I seek to hit. Nor shall proud Lancaster usurp my right, nor hold the sceptre in his childish fist, nor wear the diadem upon his head, whose church-like humours fit not for a crown. Then York, still a while, till time do serve. Watch thou and wake when others be asleep, to pry into the secrets of the state, till Henry surfeiting in joys of love with his new bride and England's dear-bought queen, and Humphrey with the peers be fallen at jars. Then will I raise aloft the milk white rose, with whose sweet smell the air shall be perfumed, and in my standard bear the arms of York to grapple with the house of Lancaster, and force perforce I'll make him yield crown, whose bookish rule hath pulled fair England down.
Exit York. Act 1, Scene 2. Enter Duke Humphrey of Gloucester and his wife Eleanor, the Duchess.
Why doth the great Duke Humphrey knit his brows as frowning at the favours of the world? Why art thine eyes fixed to the sullen earth? What seest thou there? King Henry's diadem, enchased with all the honours of the world. If so, gaze on and grovel on thy face until thy head be circled with the same.
Oh, Nell, sweet Nell, if thou dost love thy lord, banish the canker of ambitious thoughts. My troublous dreams this night doth make me sad.
What dreamed my lord? Tell me, and I'll requite it with sweet rehearsal of my morning's dream.
Methought this staff, mine office badge in court, was broke in twain, by whom I have forgot, but as I think it was by the Cardinal. And on the pieces of the broken wand were placed the heads of Edmund, Duke of Somerset, and William de la Pole, 1st Duke of Suffolk. This was my dream. What it doth bode, God knows.
Tut, this was nothing but an argument that he that breaks a stick of Gloucester's grove shall lose his head for his presumption. But list to me, my Humphrey, my sweet Duke. Methought I sat in seat of majesty in the Cathedral Church of Westminster, and in that chair where kings and queens are crowned, where Henry and Dame Margaret kneeled to me, and on my head did set the diadem.
Nay, Eleanor, then must I chide thee outright, presumptuous dame. Ill-nurtured Eleanor, art thou not second woman of the realm and the protector's wife, beloved of him? And wilt thou still be hammering treachery to tumble down thy husband and thyself from top of honour to disgracer's feet? Away from me and let me hear no more.
What, my lord? Are you so choleric with Eleanor for telling but her dream? Next time I'll keep my dreams unto myself and not be checked.
My lord protector, 'tis his highness's pleasure you do prepare to ride unto St. Albans, whereas the king and queen do mean to hawk.
I go. Come, Nell, thou wilt ride with us?
Yes, my good lord, I'll follow presently. Follow I must. I cannot go before, while Gloucester bears this base and humble mind. Were I a man, a duke, and next of blood, I would remove these tedious stumbling blocks and smooth my way upon their headless necks. And, being a woman, I will not be slack to play my part in fortune's pageant. Where are you there? Sir John? Nay, fear not, man. We are alone. Here's none but thee and I.
Jesus preserve your royal majesty.
What sayst thou? Majesty? I am but grace.
But by the grace of God and Hume's advice, your grace's title shall be multiplied.
What sayst thou, man? Hast thou as yet conferred with Marjorie Jourdain, the cunning witch, with Roger Bolingbroke, the conjurer, and will they undertake to do me good?
This they have promised, to show your highness a spirit raised from the depth of underground that shall make answer to such questions as by your grace shall be propounded him.
It is enough. I'll think of other questions. When from some Albans we do make return, we'll see these things effected to the full. Here, Hume, take this reward. Make merry, man, with thy confederates in this weighty cause.
Hume must make merry with the Duchess gold. Merry and shall. But how now, Sir John Hume? Seal up your lips and give no more words but mum. The business asketh silent secrecy. Dame Eleanor gives gold to bring the witch. Gold cannot come amiss were she a devil. Yet have I gold flies from another coast. I dare not say from the rich Cardinal and from the great and new made Duke of Suffolk, yet I do find it so, for, to be plain, they, knowing Dame Eleanor's aspiring humor, have hired me to undermine the Duchess and buzz these conjurations in her brain. Well, so it stands, and thus, I fear at last, Hume's knavery will be the Duchess's rack, and her attainder will be Humphrey's fall. Sort how it will. I shall have gold for it all.
Exit. Act 1, Scene 3. Enter 3 or 4 petitioners. Peter, the armourer's man, being one.
Let me get first. Let me get there first.
My
masters, let's stand close. My Lord Protector will come this way by, and then we may deliver our supplications in the quill.
Oh, marry the Lord protect him, for he's a good man. Jesu bless him.
Oh, here he comes, methinks, and the Queen with him. I'll be the first, sure.
Oh, come back, fool! Oh, this is the Duke of Suffolk, not my Lord Protector.
How now, fellow? Wouldst anything with me?
Oh, pray, my lord, pardon me, I took ye from my Lord Protector.
To my Lord Protector. Are your supplications to his lordship? Let me see them. What is thine?
Mine is, and please your grace, against John Goodman, my Lord Cardinal's man, for keeping my house and lands and wife and all from me.
Thy wife too. That's some wrong indeed. What's yours? What's it?
Alas, sir, I am but a poor petitioner.
For enclosing the commons of Melford. How now, sir knave?
I'm just a poor petitioner of our whole township, your lordship.
Against my master, Thomas Horner, for saying that the Duke of York was rightful heir to the crown.
What sayest thou? Did the Duke of York say he was the rightful heir to the crown?
That my master was? No, forsooth. My master said that he was, and that the king was an usurper.
Who is there? Take this fellow in, and send for his master with a pursuivant presently. We'll hear more of your matter before the king.
And as for you that love to be protected under the wings of our protector's grace, begin your suits anew and sue to him. Away, big cullions. Suffolk, let them go.
Oh, come, let's be off.
My lord of Suffolk, say, is this the guise? Is this the fashions in the court of England? Is this the government of Britain's isle? And this the royalty of Albion's king? What, shall King Henry be a pupil under the surly Gloucester's governess? Am I a queen in title and in style, and must be made a subject to a duke? I tell thee, Paul, when in the city tours, thou ranst a tilt in honor of my love, and stolen the ladies' hearts of France. I thought King Henry had resembled thee in courage, courtship, and proportion. But all his mind is bent to holiness. I would the College of the Cardinals would choose him pope and carry him to Rome and set the triple crown upon his head. That were a state fit for his holiness.
Madam, be patient. As I was cause your highness came to England, so will I in England work your grace's full content.
Besides the haughty protector, have we Beauford, the imperious churchman, Somerset, Buckingham, and grumbling York, and not the least of these, but can do more in England than the king.
And he of these that can do most of all cannot do more in England than the Nevilles. Salisbury and Warwick are no simple men.
Not all these lords do vex me half so much as that proud dame, the Lord Protector's wife. She sweeps in through the courts with troops of lady, more like an empress than Duke Humphrey's wife. Strangers in court do take her for the queen. Shall I not live to be avenged on her? Contemptuous, base-born callet as she is, she vaunted mongst her minions the other day, the very train of her worst-wearing gown was better worth than all my father's lands, till Suffolk gave 2 dukedoms for his daughter.
Madam, myself have limed a bush for her, and placed a choir of such enticing birds that she will light to listen to the lays, and never mount to trouble you again. So let her rest. And madam, list to me. For I am bold to counsel you in this. Although we fancy not the Cardinal, yet we must join with him and with the Lords till we have brought Duke Humphrey in disgrace. As for the Duke of York, this late complaint will make but little for his benefit. So one by one, we'll weed them all at last, and you yourself shall steer the happy helm.
Enter the King, Duke Humphrey of Gloucester, Cardinal, Buckingham, York, Somerset, Salisbury, Warwick, and the Duchess of Gloucester.
For my part, noble lords, I care not which, or Somerset or York, all's one to me.
If York have ill demeaned himself in France, then let him be denied the regentship.
If Somerset be unworthy of the place, let York be regent. I will yield to him.
Whether your grace be worthy, yea or no, dispute not that. York is the worthier.
Ambitious Warwick, let thy betters speak.
The cardinal's not my better in the field.
All in this presence are thy betters, Warwick.
Warwick, they live to be the best of all.
Son, and show some reason, Buckingham, why Somerset should be preferred in this.
Because the king, forsooth, will have it so.
Madam, the king is old enough himself to give his censure. These are no women's matters.
If he be old enough, what needs your grace to be protector of his excellence?
Madam, I am protector of the realm, and at his pleasure will resign my place.
Resign it then, and leave thine insolence, since thou wert king, and as who is king but thou, the Commonwealth hath daily run to rack, the Dauphin hath prevailed beyond the seas, and all the peers and nobles of the realm have been as bondmen to thy sovereignty.
The commons hast thou racked. The clergy's bags are lank and lean with thy extortions.
Thy sumptuous buildings and thy wives' attire have cost a mass of public treasury.
Thy cruelty and execution upon offenders hath exceeded law and left thee to the mercy of the law.
Thy sale of offices in towns in France, if they were known, as the suspect is great, would make thee quickly hop without thy head. Give me my fan. What, minion? Can ye not? Oh, I cry you. Mercy, madam, was it you?
Was't I? Yea, I it was, proud Frenchwoman. Could I come near your beauty with my nails, I would set my 10 commandments in your face.
Sweetheart, be quiet. 'Twas against her will.
Against her will, good king. Look to it in time. She'll hamper thee and dandle thee like a baby. Though in this place most master wear no breeches, she shall not strike Dame Eleanor unrevenged.
Lord Cardinal, I will follow Eleanor and listen after Humphrey how he proceeds. She's tickled now. Her fume needs no spurs. She'll gallop far enough to her destruction.
Now, lords, my collar being overblown with walking once round the quadrangle, I come to talk of Commonwealth affairs. As for your spiteful false objections, prove them, and I lie open to the law. But God in mercy so deal with my soul as I in duty love my king and country. But to the matter that we have at hand, I say, my sovereign, York is the meetest man to be your regent in the realm of France.
Before we make election, give me leave to show some reason of no little force that York is most unmeet of any man.
I'll tell thee, Suffolk, why I am unmeet. First, I cannot pride. Next, if I be appointed for the place, my Lord of Somerset will keep me here without discharge, money, or furniture, till France be won into the Dauphin's hands.
That can I witness, and a fouler fact did never traitor in the land commit.
Peace, headstrong Warwick.
Image of pride, why should I hold my peace?
Because here is a man accused of treason. Pray God the Duke of York excuse himself.
Doth any one accuse York for a traitor?
What meanst thou, Suffolk? Tell me, what are these?
Please it, your majesty. This is the man that doth accuse his master of high treason. His words were these: that Richard, Duke of York, was rightful heir unto the English crown, and that your majesty was an usurper.
Say, man, were these thy words?
And it shall please your majesty, I never said nor thought any such matter. God is my witness, I am falsely accused by the villain.
By these 10 bones, my lords, he did speak them to me in the garret one night as we were scouring my Lord of York's armour.
Base, dunghill, villain and mechanical, I'll have thy head for this thy traitor's speech. I do beseech your royal majesty, let him have all the rigour of the law.
Alas, my lord, hang me if ever I spake the words. My accuser is my prentice, and when I did correct him for his fault the other day, he did vow upon his knees he would be even with me. I have good witness of this. Therefore, I beseech your majesty, do not cast away an honest man for a villain's accusation.
Uncle, what shall we say to this in law?
This do, my lord, if I may judge. Let Somerset be regent o'er the French, because in York this breeds suspicion. And let these have a day appointed them for single combat in convenient place. For he hath witness of his servant's malice. This is the law, and this Duke Humphrey's doom.
I humbly thank your royal majesty.
And I accept the combat willingly.
Alas, my lord, I cannot fight. Oh, for God's sake, pity my case. Oh Lord, my heart.
You must fight or else be hanged.
Away with them to prison, and the day of combat shall be the last of next month. Come, Somerset, we'll see thee sent away.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 4. Enter the witch Marjorie Jourdain, the two priests Hume and Southwell, and Bolingbroke.
Come, my masters. The Duchess, I tell you, expects performances of your promises.
Master Hume, we are therefore provided. Will her ladyship behold and hear our exorcisms?
Aye. What else? Fear you not her courage.
I have heard her reported to be a woman of an invincible spirit, but it shall be convenient, Master Hume, that you be by her aloft, while we be busy below. And so I pray you go in God's name and leave us. Mother Jourdain, do you prostrate and grovel on the earth. John Southwell, read you and let us to our work.
Well said, my masters, and welcome all to this gear, the sooner the better.
Patience, good lady, wizards know their times. Deep night, dark night, the silent of the night, the time when screech owls cry and bandogs howl and spirits walk and ghosts break up their graves. That time best fits the work we have in hand.
Conjurote, conjurote, conjurote!
Some.
Asmath, by the eternal God, whose name and power thou tremblest at, answer that I shall ask, for till thou speak, thou shalt not pass from hence.
Ask what thou wilt. That I had said and done.
First of the king, what shall of him become?
The Duke yet lives that Henry shall depose. Let him outlive and die a violent death.
Tell me what fate awaits the Duke of Suffolk.
By water shall he die and take his end.
What shall betide the Duke of Somerset?
Let him shun castles. Have done, for more I hardly can endure.
Descend to darkness and the burning lake, false fiend, avoid!
Lay hands upon these traitors and their trash. My lord protector will, I doubt it not, see you well guerdoned for these good deserts.
Not half so bad as lying to England's king, injurious duke, that threatest wears no cause.
True, madam, none at all. What call you this, huh? Away with them. Let them be clapped up close and kept asunder. You, madam, shall with us. Stafford, take her to thee. We'll see your trinkets here, all forthcoming. All, away!
Lord Buckingham, methinks you watched her well. A pretty plot, well chosen to build upon. Now, pray, my lord, let's see the devil's writ. What have we here? The Duke yet lives that Henry shall depose. But let him outlive and die a violent death. Tell me what fate awaits the Duke of Suffolk. By water shall he die and take his end? What shall betide the Duke of Somerset? Let him shun castles. Come, come, my lord, these oracles are hardly attained and hardly understood. The king is now in progress towards St. Albans. With him, the husband of this lovely lady. Thither goes these news as fast as horse can carry them. A sorry breakfast for my Lord Protector.
Your grace shall give me leave, my lord of York, to be the post in hope of his reward.
At your pleasure, my good lord. Who's within there, ho? Invite my lords of Salisbury and Warwick to sup with me tomorrow night. Away.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter the King, Queen with hawk on her fist, Protector Gloucester, Cardinal, and Suffolk.
Believe me, lords, for flying at the brook, I saw not better sport these 7 years' day.
But what a point, my lord, your falcon made, and what a pitch she flew above the rest, to see how God in all his creatures works. Yea, man and birds are fain of climbing high.
No marvel, an it like your majesty, my lord protector's hawks do tower so well. They know their master loves to be aloft, and bears his thoughts above his falcon's pitch.
My lord, 'tis but a base ignoble mind that mounts no higher than a bird can soar.
I thought as much. He would be above the clouds.
Ah, my lord Cardinal, how think you by that? Were it not good your grace could fly to heaven?
The treasury of everlasting joy.
Thy heaven is on earth, thine eyes and thoughts beat on a crown, the treasure of thy heart.
What, Cardinal, is your priesthood grown peremptory? Churchman, so hot? Good uncle, hide such malice with such holiness. Can you do it?
No malice, sir, no more than well becomes so good a quarrel and so bad a peer.
As who, my lord?
Why, as you, my lord, and like your lordly lord's protectorship.
Why, Suffolk, England knows thine insolence.
And thy ambition, Gloucester.
I prithee peace, good queen, and whet not on these furious peers, for blessed are the peacemakers on earth.
Let me be blessed for the peace I make against this proud protector with my sword.
Faith, holy uncle, would it were come to that.
Marry, where thou darest.
Make up no factious number for the matter in thine own person, answer thy abuse.
Aye, while thou darest not peep, and if thou darest, this evening, on the east side of the grove, come with thy two-handed sword. Are ye advised the east side of the grove?
Cardinal, I am with you.
Why, how now, Uncle Gloucester?
Talking of hawking, nothing else, my lord. Now, by God's mother priest, I'll shave your crown for this, or all my fence shall fail.
Protector, see to it well. Protect yourself.
The winds grow high, so do your stomachs, lords. How irksome is this music to my heart. When such strings jar, what hope of harmony? I pray, my lords, let me compound this strife.
A miracle!
What means this noise? Fellow, what miracle dost thou proclaim?
A miracle! A miracle!
Come to the king and tell him what miracle.
Oh, forsooth,
a blind man at St. Alban's shrine within this half hour hath received his sight, a man that ne'er saw in his life before.
Now God be praised, that to believing souls gives light in darkness, comfort in despair.
I bring out the townsmen in procession to present your highness with the man. Here comes the townsman on procession to present your highness with the man.
Great is his comfort in this earthly vale, although by his sight his sin be multiplied.
Stand by, my masters. Bring him near the king, his highness' pleasure.
Good fellow, tell us here the circumstance, that we for thee may glorify the Lord. What, hast thou been long blind and now restored?
Born blind, and it please your grace.
Aye, indeed was he.
What woman is this?
His wife, and to like your worship.
Hadst thou been his mother, thou couldst have better told.
Where wert thou born?
At Berwick, in the north, and it like your grace.
Poor soul, God's goodness hath been great to thee. Let never day nor night unhallowed pass, but still remember what the Lord hath done.
Fellow, camest thou here by chance or by devotion to this holy shrine?
God knows by pure devotion, being called 100 times and oftener in my sleep. By good Saint Alban, who said, Simon, come offer at my shrine, and I will help thee.
Most true, forsooth, and many a time and oft myself have heard a voice to call him so.
What, art thou lame?
Aye, God Almighty help me.
How camest thou so?
I fall off a tree.
A plum tree, master.
How long hast thou been blind?
Oh, born so, master.
Oh, what, and wouldst climb a tree?
But, and then all my life when I was a youth.
Too true, and bought his climbing very dear.
Hast thou loved plums well that wouldst venture so?
Alas, good master, my wife desired some damsons, and made me climb with danger of my life.
A subtle knave, but yet it shall not serve. Let me see thine eyes. Wink now. Now open them. In my opinion, yet thou seest not well.
Yes, master, clear as day. I thank God and St. Alban.
Say'st thou me so? What colour is this cloak made of?
Red, master, red as blood.
Why, that's well said. And what colour is my gown of?
Oh, black, forsooth, coal black as jet.
Why then thou knowest what colour jet is of.
And yet I think jet he never did see.
But cloaks and gowns before this day are many.
Never before this day in all his life.
Tell me, Sirrah, what's my name?
Alas, master, I know not.
Oh, what's his name?
I know not.
Nor his?
No, indeed, master.
What's thine own name?
Saunder Simcox, if it please you, master.
Then, Saunder, sit there, the lyingest knave in Christendom. If thou hadst been born blind, thou mightst as well have known all our names, as thus, to name several colours we'd wear, sight may distinguish colours, but suddenly to nominate them all, it is impossible. My lord, St. Alban here hath done a miracle, and would ye not think his cunning to be great, that could restore this cripple to his legs again?
Oh, master, that you could...
My masters of St. Albans, have you not beadles in your towns and things called whips?
Yes, my lord, if it pleases your grace.
Then send for one presently.
Sirrah, go fetch the beadle hither straight.
Now fetch me a stool hither by and by. Now, Sirrah, if you mean to save yourself from whipping, leap me over this stool and run away.
Alas, master, I am not able to stand alone. You go about to torture me in vain.
Well, so we must have you find your legs. Sirrah Beadle, whip him till he leap over that same stool.
Oh, I will, my lord. Come on, Sirrah. Off with your doublet quickly.
Alas, master, what shall I do? I am not able to stand. Ah! Oh! Oh!
A miracle!
Oh, God! Seest thou this, embarrassed so long?
It made me laugh to see the villain run.
Follow the knave and take this drab away.
Alas, sir, we did it for pure need.
Let them be whipped through every market town till they come to Berwick from whence they came.
Duke Humphrey has done a miracle today.
True, made the lame to leap and fly away.
But you have done more miracles than I. You made in a day, my lord, whole towns to fly.
What tidings with our cousin Buckingham?
Such as my heart doth tremble to unfold. A sort of naughty persons, lewdly bent under the countenance and confederacy of Lady Eleanor, the Protector's wife, have practised dangerously against your state, dealing with witches, with conjurers, whom we have apprehended in the fact, raising up wicked spirits from underground, demanding of your King Henry's life and death, and other of your Highness's privy council as more at large your grace shall understand.
And so, my Lord Protector, by this means your lady is coming yet to London. This news, I think, hath turned your weapon's edge. 'Tis like, my lord, you will not keep your hour.
Ambitious churchman, leave to afflict my heart. Sorrow and grief have vanquished all my powers, and vanquished as I am, I yield to thee, or to the meanest groom.
Oh, God. What mischiefs work the wicked ones, heaping confusion on their own heads thereby.
Gloucester, see here the tainture of thy nest, and look thyself be faultless, thou wert best.
Madam, for myself to heaven I do appeal, how I have loved my king and commonweal, and for my wife I know not how it stands. Sorry I am to hear what I have heard. Noble she is, but if she have forgot honour and virtue, and conversed with such as like to pitch defile nobility, I banish her my bed and company, and give her as a prey to law and shame that hath dishonoured Gloucester's honest name.
Well, for this night, we will repose us here. Tomorrow toward London, back again to look into this business thoroughly.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 2. Enter York, Salisbury, and Warwick.
Now, my good lords of Salisbury and Warwick, our simple supper ended, give me leave in this close walk to satisfy myself in craving your opinion of my title, which is infallible to England's crown.
My lord, I long to hear it at full.
Sweet York, begin, and if thy claim be good, the Nevilles are thy subjects to command.
Then thus. Edward III, my lords, had 7 sons. The first, Edward the Black Prince, Prince of Wales. Edward the Black Prince died before his father and left behind him Richard, his only son, who after Edward III's death reigned as king till Henry Bolingbroke, Duke of Lancaster, the eldest son and heir of John of Gaunt, crowned by the name of Henry IV, seized on the realm, disposed the rightful king, sent his poor queen to France from whence she came, and him to Pomfret, where, as you all know, harmless Richard was murdered traitorously.
Father, the Duke hath told the truth, thus got the House of Lancaster the crown.
Which now they hold by force, and not by right, for Richard, the first son's heir being dead, the issue of the next son should have reigned.
But William of Hadfield died without an heir.
The third son, Duke of Clarence, whose line I claim the crown, had issue Philippe, a daughter, who married Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March. Edmund had issue Roger, Earl of March. Roger had issue Edmund, Anne, and Eleanor.
Oh, this Edmund in the reign of Bolingbroke, as I have read, laid claim unto the crown, and but for Owen Glendower, who had been king, who kept him in captivity till he died.
His eldest sister, Anne, my mother, being heir unto the crown, married Richard, Earl of Cambridge. By her I claim the kingdom. She was heir to Roger, Earl of March, who was the son of Edmund Mortimer, who married Philippe, sole daughter unto Lionel, Duke of Clarence. So, if the issue of the elder son succeed before the younger, I am king.
What plain proceedings is more plain than this? Henry doth claim the crown from John of Gaunt, the fourth son. York claims it from the third. Then, Father Salisbury, kneel we together, and in this private plot be we the first that shall salute our rightful sovereign with honour of his birthright to the crown. Long
live our sovereign Richard, England's king.
We thank you, lords. But I am not your king till I be crowned, and that my sword be stained with heart blood of the house of Lancaster. And that's not suddenly to be performed, but with advice and silent secrecy. Do you, as I do in these dangerous days, wink at the Duke of Suffolk's insolence, at Beauford's pride, at Somerset's ambition, at Buckingham, and all the crew of them, till they have snared the shepherd of the flock, that virtuous prince, the good Duke Humphrey. 'Tis that they seek, and they, in seeking that, shall find their deaths, if York can prophesy.
My lord, break we off. We know your mind at full.
My heart assures me that the Earl of Warwick shall one day make the Duke of York a king.
And Neville, this I do assure myself, Richard shall live to make the Earl of Warwick the greatest man in England, but the king.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 3.
Act 2, Scene 3. Enter the King and State, the Queen, Gloucester, York, Suffolk, and Salisbury with guard to banish the Duchess. Enter, guarded, the Duchess of Gloucester, Marjorie Jourdain, Southwell, Hume, and Bolingbroke.
Stand forth, Dame Eleanor Cobham, Gloucester's wife. In sight of God and us, your guilt is great. Receive the sentence of the law for sins such as by God's book are adjudged to death. You four, from hence to prison back again, from thence unto the place of execution. You, madam, for you are more nobly born, despoiled of your honor and your life, shall, after 3 days open penance done, live in your country here in banishment with Sir John Stanley in the Isle of Man.
Welcome is banishment. Welcome were my death.
Eleanor, the law thou seest hath judged thee. I cannot justify whom the law condemns. Mine eyes are full of tears, my heart of grief. I beseech your majesty, give me leave to go. Sorrow would solace, and mine age would ease.
Stay, Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester. Ere thou go, give up thy staff. Henry will to himself protector be, and God shall be my hope. And go in peace, Humphrey, no less beloved than when thou wert protector to thy king.
I see no reason why a king of years should be protected like a child. God and King Henry govern England's realm. Give up your staff, sir, and king his realm.
My staff? Here, noble Henry, is my staff, and even as willingly at thy feet I leave it, as others would ambitiously receive it. Farewell, good king. When I am dead and gone, may honourable peace attend thy throne.
Why, now is Henry king and Margaret queen. This staff of honour wrought, there let it stand, where it best fits to be, in Henry's hand.
Lords, let him go. Please it your majesty. This is the day appointed for the combat, and ready are the appellant and defendant, the armourer and his man to enter the lists. So please, your highness, to behold the fight.
Aye, good my lord, for purposely therefore left I the court, to see this quarrel tied.
In God's name, see the lists and all things fit. Here let them end it, and God defend the right.
I never saw a fellow instead, or more afraid to fight, than is the appellant, this servant of the armourer, my lords.
Peter! Come on, Peter, you can do it. Come on, Ted.
Here, neighbor Horner, I drink to you in a cup of sack. Fear not, neighbor, you shall do well enough.
And here, neighbour, here. Here's a cup of Chanco.
Here's a pot of good double beer, neighbor. Drink and fear not your man.
Here it come in faith, and I'll pledge you all, and a fig for Peter.
Here, Peter, I drink to thee, and be not afraid. Ah, be merry, Peter, and fear not thy master. Fight for the credit of apprentices.
I thank you all. Drink and pray for me. I pray for you. I think I've taken my last draught in this world. Here, Robin, and if I die, I give thee my apron. And Will, thou shalt have my hammer. And here, Tom, take all the money that I have. Oh, Lord, bless me. I pray God, for I'm never able to deal with my master. He hath learned so much fence already.
Come, leave your drinking and fall to blows. Sirrah, what's thy name?
Peter, forsooth.
Peter. What more?
Thump.
Thump. Then see thou thump thy master well.
Masters, I'm come hither, as it were, upon my man's instigation, to prove him a knave, and myself an honest man. And touching the Duke of York, I will take my death. I never meant him any ill, nor the king, nor the queen, and therefore, Peter, have at thee with a downright blow.
Dispatch, this knave's tongue begins to double. Sound trumpets, alarum to the combatants.
Hold! Peter, hold! I confess! I confess treason!
Take away his weapon, fellow, thank God, and the good wine in thy master's way.
Oh, God, have I overcome mine enemies in this presence? Oh, Peter, thou hast prevailed in right.
Go, take hence that traitor from our sight, for by his death we do perceive his guilt, and God in justice hath revealed to us the truth and innocence of this poor fellow, which he had thought to have murdered wrongfully. Come, fellow, follow us for thy reward.
Exeunt.
Act 2, Scene 4. Enter Duke Humphrey of Gloucester and his attendants in mourning cloaks.
As sometimes hath the brightest day a cloud. Sirs, what's o'clock?
10, my lord.
10 is the hour that was appointed me to watch the coming of my punished Duchess. Sweet Nell, ill can thy noble mind brook the abject people gazing on thy face with envious looks, laughing at thy shame. But soft, I think she comes, and I'll prepare my tear-stained face to see her miseries.
So please your grace, we'll take her from the sheriff.
No, stir not for your lives. Let her pass by.
Come you, my lord, to see my open shame. Now thou dost penance too. Look how they gaze. Ah, Gloucester, hide thee from their hateful looks, and in thy closet pent up, rue my shame, and ban thine enemies, both mine and thine.
Be patient, gentle Nell. Forget this grief.
Oh, Gloucester, teach me to forget myself. For whilst I think I am thy married wife, and thou a prince, protector of this land, methinks I should not thus be led along, mailed up in shame with papers on my back, and followed with a rabble that rejoice to see my tears and hear my deep-fet groans. The ruthless flint doth cut my tender feet, and when I start, the envious people laugh and bid me be advised how I tread. Oh, Humphrey, can I bear this shameful yoke? Trost thou that ere I look upon the world, or count them happy that enjoys the sun? No, dark shall be my light, and night my day. To think upon my pomp shall be my hell. Sometimes I'll say, I am Duke Humphrey's wife, and he a prince and ruler of the land. Yet so he ruled, and such a prince he was, as he stood by whilst I, his forlorn Duchess, was made a wonder and a pointing stock to every idle rascal follower. But be thou mild, and blush not at my shame, nor stir at nothing, till the axe of death hang over thee, as surely it shortly will. For Suffolk, York, and Beauford, that false priest, have all lined bushes to betray thy wings. And fly thou how thou canst, they'll tangle thee.
Oh, Nell, forbear, thou aimest all awry. I must offend before I be attainted. And had I 20 times so many foes, and each of them 20 times their power, so long as I am loyal, true, and crimeless, all these could not procure me any scathe. Wouldst thou have me rescue thee from thy reproach? Why, yet thy scandal were not wiped away, but I in danger for the breach of law. Thy greatest help is quiet, gentle Nell. I pray thee sort thy heart to patience. These few days' wonder will be quickly worn.
I summon your grace to his majesty's parliament, holden at Bury the 1st of this next month.
And my consent ne'er asked herein before? This is close dealing. Well, I will be there. My Nell, I take my leave. And Master Sheriff, let not her penance exceed the king's commission.
And please your grace, here my commission stays, and Sir John Stanley is appointed now to take her with him to the Isle of Man.
Must you, Sir John, protect my lady here?
So am I given in charge? May it please your grace.
Entreat her not the worse, in that I pray you use her well. The world may laugh again, and I may live to do you kindness, if you do it her. And so, Sir John, farewell.
What, gone, my lord, and bid me not farewell?
Witness my tears, I cannot stay to speak.
Art thou gone too? All comfort go with thee, for none abides with me. My joy is death. Stanley, I prithee go and take me hence. I care not whither, for I beg no favour. Only convey me where thou commanded.
Why, madam, that is to the Isle of Man.
Go, lead the way. I long to see my prison.
Exeunt.
Act 3, Scene 1. Enter 2 heralds before, then enter King, Queen, Cardinal, Suffolk, York, Buckingham, Salisbury, and Warwick to the Parliament.
I muse my lord of Gloucester is not come. 'Tis not his wont to be the hindmost man, whate'er occasion keeps him from us now.
Can ye not see, or will ye not observe, the strangeness of his altered countenance? We know the time since he was mild and affable, and if we did but glance a far-off look, immediately he was upon his knee, that all the court admired him for submission. But meet him now, and be it in the morn when everyone will give the time of day, he knits his brow and shows an angry eye and passeth by with stiff, unbowed knee, disdaining duty that to us belongs. First note that he is near you in descent, and should you fall, he is the next will mount. Meseemeth then it is no policy that he should come about your royal person or be admitted to your highness's council. By flattery he hath won the commons' heart, and when he pleased to make commotion, 'tis to be feared they will all follow him. The reverent care I bear unto my lord made me collect these dangers in the Duke. My lord of Suffolk, Buckingham, and York, reprove my allegation if you can, or else conclude my words effectual.
Well hath your highness seen into this Duke, and had I first been put to speak my mind, I think I should have told your grace's tale. The Duchess, by his subornation upon my life, began her devilish practices. Smooth runs the water where the brook is deep, and in his simple show he harbours treason. The fox barks not when he would steal the lamb. No, no, my sovereign. Gloucester is a man unsounded yet, and full of deep deceit.
Did he not, contrary to form of law, devise strange deaths for small offences done?
And did he not in his protectorship levy great sums of money through the realm for soldiers' pay in France, and never sent it by means whereof the towns each day revolted?
Tut, these are petty faults to faults unknown, which time will bring to light in smooth Duke Humphrey.
My lords, at once. The care you have of us to mow down thorns that would annoy our foot is worthy praise. But shall I speak my conscience? Our kinsman Gloucester is as innocent from meaning treason to our royal person as is the sucking lamb or harmless dove.
What's more dangerous than this fond affiance? Seems he a dove? Huh, his feathers are but borrowed, for he's disposed as the hateful raven. Is he a lamb? His skin is surely lent him, for he's inclined as is the ravenous wolves.
All health unto my gracious sovereign.
Welcome, Lord Somerset. What news from France?
That all your interest in those territories is utterly bereft you. All is lost.
Cold news, Lord Somerset. But God's will be done.
Cold news for me, for I had hope of France, as firmly as I hope for fertile England.
All happiness unto my lord the king. Pardon, my liege, that I have stayed so long.
Nay, Gloucester, know that thou art come too soon, unless thou wert more loyal than thou art. I do arrest thee of high treason here.
Well, Suffolk, thou shalt not see me blush. A heart unspotted is not easily daunted. Who can accuse me? Wherein am I guilty?
'Tis thought, my lord, that you took bribes of France, and being protector stayed the soldiers' pay, by means whereof his highness hath lost France.
Is it but thought so? What are they that think it? I never robbed the soldiers of their pay, nor ever had 1 penny bribe from France. No, many a pound of mine own proper store, because I would not tax the needy commons, have I dispersed to the garrisons, and never asked for restitution.
It serves you well, my lord, to say as much.
I say no more than truth, so help me God.
In your protectorship, you did devise strange tortures for offenders never heard of, that England was defamed by tyranny.
Why, 'tis well known that whiles I was protector, pity was all the fault that was in me, for I should melt at an offender's tears, and lowly words were ransom for their fault, unless it were a bloody murderer or foul felonious thief that fleeced poor passengers. I never gave them condign punishment. Murder indeed, that bloody sin, I tortured above the felon, or what trespass else?
My lord, these faults are easy, quickly answered, but mightier crimes are laid unto your charge, whereof you cannot easily purge yourself. I do arrest you in his highness' name, and here commit you to my lord cardinal to keep until your further time of trial.
My lord of Gloucester, 'tis my special hope that you will clear yourself from all suspense. My conscience tells me you are innocent.
Ah, gracious lord, these days are dangerous. Virtue is choked with foul ambition, and charity chased hence by rancor's hand. I know their complot is to have my life, and if my death might make this island happy and prove the period of their tyranny, I would expend it with all willingness. But mine is made the prologue to their play, for thousands more that yet suspect no peril will not conclude their plotted tragedy. Beauford's red sparkling eyes blab his heart's malice, and Suffolk's cloudy brow his stormy hate. Sharp Buckingham unburdens with his tongue the envious load that lies at his heart, and dogged York that reaches at the moon, whose overweening arm I have plucked back by false accuse, doth level at my life. And you, my sovereign lady, with the rest, causeless, have laid disgraces on my head. I, all of you, have laid your heads together. Myself had notice of your conventicles, and all to make away my guiltless life. I shall not want false witness to condemn me, nor store of treasons to augment my guilt. The ancient proverb will be well effected. A staff is quickly found to beat a dog.
My liege, his railing is intolerable. If those that care to keep your royal person from treason's secret knife and traitor's rage be thus unbraided, chid and rated at, and the offender granted scope of speech, 'twill make them cool in zeal unto your grace. Sirs, take away the Duke and guard him sure.
Thus King Henry throws away his crutch before his legs be firm to bear his body. Thus is the shepherd beaten from thy side, and wolves are gnarling who shall gnaw thee first. Oh, that my fears were false, ah, that it were. For good King Henry, thy decay I fear.
My lords, what to your wisdom seemeth best, do or undo, as if ourself were here.
What, will your highness leave the parliament?
Margaret, my heart is drowned with grief, for what's more miserable than discontent? Uncle Humphrey, in my face I see the map of honor, truth and loyalty, and yet, good Humphrey, is the hour to come that ere I played thee false, or feared thy faith. What lowering star now envies thy estate that these great lords and Margaret our queen do seek subversion of thy harmless life? His fortunes will I weep, and twixt each groan say, who's a traitor? Gloucester, he is none.
Believe me, lords, were none more wise than I, and yet herein I judge mine own wit good. This Gloucester should be quickly rid the world, to rid us from the fear we have of him.
That he should die is worthy policy, but yet we want a colour for his death. 'Tis meet he be condemned by course of law.
But in my mind, that were no policy. The king will labour still to save his life. The commons haply rise to save his life. And yet we have but trivial argument, more than mistrust, that shows him worthy death.
So that by this you would not have him die.
Ah, York, no man alive so fain as I.
'Tis York that hath more reason for his death. But my Lord Cardinal and you, my Lord of Suffolk, say as you think and speak from your souls, were not all one? An empty eagle was set to guard the chicken from a hungry kite, as place Duke Humphrey for the king's protector.
So the poor chicken should be sure of death.
Madam, 'tis true. And were it not madness then to make the fox surveyor of the fold? No, let him die, in that he is a fox, by nature proved an enemy to the flock, before his chaps be stained with crimson blood. As Humphrey proved by reasons to my liege, and do not stand on quillets how to slay him, be it by gins, by snares, by subtlety, sleeping or waking, 'tis no matter how, so he be dead. For that is good deceit, which makes him first that first intends deceit.
Thrice noble Suffolk, 'tis resolutely spoke.
Not resolute, except so much were done, seeing the deed is meritorious, and to preserve my sovereign from his foe. Say but the word, and I will be his priest.
But I would have him dead, my Lord of Suffolk, ere you can take due orders for a priest. Say you consent and censure well the deed, and I'll provide his executioner. I'll tend to so the safety of my liege.
Here is my hand, the deed is worthy doing.
And so say I.
And I. And now we three have spoke it. It skills not greatly who impugns our doom.
Great lords, from Ireland am I come amain, to signify that the rebels there are up, and put the Englishmen unto the sword. Send succors, lords, and stop the rage betime, before the wound do grow incurable. For being green, there is great hope of help.
A breach that craves a quick expedient stop. What counsel give you in this weighty cause?
That Somerset be sent as regent thither. 'Tis meet that lucky ruler be employed. Witness the fortune he hath had in France.
If York, with all his far-fetched policy, had been the regent there instead of me, he never would have stayed in France so long.
No, not to lose it all as thou hast done. I rather would have lost my life betimes than bring a burden of dishonour home by staying there so long till all were lost.
Nay then, this spark will prove a raging fire, if wind and fuel be brought to feed it with. No more, good York, sweet Somerset, be still. Thy fortune, York, hadst thou been regent there, might happily have proved far worse than his.
What worse than naught? Nay then, a shame, take all.
And in the number thee that wishest shame.
My Lord of York, try what your fortune is. The uncivil kerns of Ireland are in arms, and temper clay with the blood of Englishmen. To Ireland will you lead a band of men, collected and choicely from each county some, and try your hap against the Irishmen.
I will, my lord. So please his majesty.
Why, our authority is his consent. And what we do establish, he confirms. Then, noble York, take thou this task in hand.
I am content. Provide me soldiers, lords, whiles I take order for mine own affairs.
A charge, Lord York, that I will see performed. But now return we to the false Duke Humphrey.
No more of him, for I will deal with him, that henceforth he shall trouble us no more, and so break off. The day is almost spent. Lord Suffolk, you and I must talk of that event.
My Lord of Suffolk, within 14 days at Bristow expect my soldiers, for there I'll ship them all for Ireland.
I'll see it truly done, my Lord of York.
Now, York, or never, steel thy fearful thoughts, and change misdoubt to resolution. Be that thou hopest to be, or what thou art, resign it to death. It is not worth enjoying. Let pale-faced fear keep with the mean-born man and find no harbour in a royal heart. Faster than springtime showers comes thought on thought, and not a thought but thinks on dignity. My brain more busy than the labouring spider weaves tedious snares to trap mine enemies. Well, nobles, well. 'Tis politically done to send me packing with an host of men. 'Twas men I lacked, and you will give them me. I take it kindly, yet be well assured, you put sharp weapons in a madman's hands, whiles in Ireland nourish a mighty band. I will stir up in England some black storm, shall blow 10,000 souls to heaven or hell, and this fell tempest shall not cease to rage until the golden circuit on my head, like to the glorious sun's transparent beams, do calm the fury of this mad bread flaw. And for a minister of my intent, I have seduced headstrong Kentish man, John Cade of Ashford, to make commotion as full well he can under the title of John Mortimer. In Ireland have I seen this stubborn Cade oppose himself against a troop of kerns, and fought so long till that his thighs with darts were almost like a sharp quilled porpentine, and in the end, being rescued, I have seen him caper upright like wild Morisco, shaking the bloody darts as he bells. This devil here shall be my substitute. For that John Mortimer, which now is dead, in face, in gait, in speech, he doth resemble. By this I shall perceive the commons' mind, how they affect the house and claim of York. Say he be taken, racked and tortured, I know no pain they can inflict upon him will make him say I moved him to those arms. Say that he thrive as his great like he will. Why then, from Ireland come I with my strength, and reap the harvest which that rascal sowed, for Humphrey being dead as he shall be, and Henry put apart the next for me.
Exit. Act 3, Scene 2. Enter 2 or 3 murderers running over the stage from the murder of Duke Humphrey.
Run to my lord of Suffolk. Let him know we have dispatched the Duke as he commanded.
Oh, that it were to do! What have we done? Didst ever hear a man so penitent?
Here comes my lord.
Now, sirs, have you dispatched this thing?
Aye, my good lord is dead.
Why, that's well said. Go, get you to my house. I will reward you for this venturous deed. The king and all the peers are here at hand. Have you laid fair the bed? Is all things well, according as I gave directions?
'Tis my good lord.
Away, be gone.
We'll call our uncle to our presence straight. Say we intend to try his grace today. If he be guilty, as 'tis published.
I'll call him presently, my noble lord.
Lords, take your places. And I pray you all proceed no straighter against our uncle Gloucester than from true evidence of good esteem he be approved in practice culpable.
God forbid any malice should prevail, that faultless may condemn a nobleman. Pray God he may acquit him of suspicion.
I thank thee, Meg. These words content me much. How now? Why look'st thou pale? Why tremblest thou? Where is our uncle? What's the matter, Suffolk?
Dead, in his bed. My lord, Gloucester is dead.
Mary, God forfend!
What secret judgment I did dream tonight. The Duke was dumb and could not speak a word.
There's my lord! Help, lords! The king is dead!
Rear up his body! Wring him by the nose!
Run! Go! Help! Help! Oh, Henry, ope thy eyes.
He doth revise again. Madam, be patient.
My God!
There's my gracious lord.
Comfort, my sovereign. Gracious Henry, comfort.
What? Doth my lord of Suffolk comfort me? Hide not thy poison with such sugared words. Lay not thy hands on me. Forbear, I say. Their touch affrights me as a serpent's sting. Thou baleful messenger, out of my sight. Upon thy eyeballs murderous tyranny sits in grim majesty to fright the world. Look not upon me, for thine eyes are wounding. Yet do not go away. Come, basilisk, and kill the innocent gazer with thy sight, for in the shade of death I shall find joy. In life but double death, now Gloucester's dead.
Why do you rate my lord of Suffolk thus? Although the Duke was enemy to him, yet he most Christian-like laments his death. What know I how the world may deem of me, for it was known we were but hollow friends. It may be judged I made the Duke away. So shall my name with slander's tongue be wounded, and princes' courts be filled with my reproach. This get I by his death. Ay me, unhappy to be a queen.
Woe is me for Gloucester, wretched man.
Woe for me, more wretched than he is. What, dost thou turn away and hide thy face? I am no loathsome leper, look on me. What, art thou like an adder waxen death? Be poisonous too, and kill thy queen. Is all thy comfort shut in Gloucester's tomb? Why then, Dame Margaret was ne'er thy joy. Erect his statue, and worship it, and make my image but as an alehouse sign. The pretty vaunting sea refused to drown me, knowing that thou wouldst have drowned me on the shore with tears as salt as sea through thy unkindness. The splitting rocks cowered in the sinking sands, and would not dash me with their ragged sides, because thy flinty heart, more hard than they, might in thy palace perish, Margaret. I stood upon the hatches in the storm, and when the dusky sky began to rob my earnest gaping sight of thy land's view, I took a costly jewel from my neck. A heart it was, bound in with diamonds, and threw it towards thy land. The sea received it, and so I wish thy body might my heart. And even with this, I lost fair England's view, and bid mine eyes be packing with my heart, and called them blind and dusty spectacles for losing ken of Albion's wished coast. How often have I tempted Suffolk's tongue, the agent of thy foul inconstancy, to sit and witch me, as Asanius did when he to maddening Dido would unfold his father's acts commenced in burning Troy? Am I not witched like her? Or thou not false like him? Oh me, I can no more. Die, Margaret, for Henry weeps that thou dost live so long.
It is reported, mighty sovereign, that good Duke Humphrey traitorously is murdered by Suffolk and the Cardinal Beauford's means. The commons, like an angry hive of bees that want their leader, scatter up and down and care not who they sting in their revenge. Myself have calmed their spleenful mutiny until they hear the order of his death.
That he is dead, good Warwick, 'tis too true. But how he died, God knows, not Henry. Enter his chamber, view his breathless corpse, and comment then upon his sudden death.
That shall I do, my liege. Stay, Salisbury, with the rude multitude till I return.
O thou that judgest all things, stay my thoughts that labor to persuade my soul some violent hands were laid on Humphrey's life. If my suspect be false, forgive me, God, for judgment only doth belong to thee. And to survey his dead and earthy image, what were it but to make my sorrow greater?
Come hither, gracious sovereign, view his body.
That is to see how deep my grave is made, for with his soul fled all my worldly solace. For seeing him, I see my life in death.
I do believe that violent hands were laid upon the life of this thrice famed duke.
What instance gives Lord Warwick for this vow?
See how the blood is settled in his face, his eyeballs further out than when he lived, staring full ghastly like a strangled man, his hair upreared, his nostrils stretched with struggling, his hands broadly displayed as one that grasped and tugged for life and was by strength subdued. Look on the sheets, his hair, you see, is sticking, his well-proportioned beard made rough and rugged, like to the summer's corn by tempest lodged. It cannot be, but he was murdered here. The least of all these signs was probable.
Why, Warwick, who should do the Duke to death? Myself and Beauford had him in protection, and we, I hope, sir, are no murderers.
But both of you were vowed Duke Humphrey's foes, and you, forsooth, had the good Duke to keep. 'Tis like you would not feast him like a friend, and 'tis well seen he found an enemy.
And you belike suspect these noblemen as guilty of Duke Humphrey's timeless death?
Who finds the heifer dead and bleeding fresh, and sees fast by a butcher with an axe, but will suspect 'twas he that made the slaughter. Even so suspicious is this tragedy.
Are you the butcher, Suffolk? Where's your knife?
I wear no knife to slaughter sleeping men, but here's a vengeful sword, rusted with ease, that shall be scoured in his rancorous heart that slanders me with murder's crimson badge. Say if thou darest, proud lord of Warwickshire, that I am faulty in Duke Humphrey's death.
What dares not Warwick if false Suffolk dare him?
He dares not calm his contumelious spirit, nor cease to be an arrogant controller, though Suffolk dared him 20,000 times.
Madam, be still, with reverence, may I say, for every word you speak in his behalf is slander to your royal dignity.
Blunt-witted lord, ignoble in demeanour.
But that the guilt of murder bucklers thee, and I should rob the deathsman of his fee, quitting thee thereby of 10,000 shames, and that my sovereign's presence makes me mild, I would, false murderous coward, on thy knee, give thee thy hire and send thy soul to hell, pernicious bloodsucker of sleeping men!
Thou shalt be waking while I shed thy blood, if from this presence thou darest go with me.
Away even now, or I will drag thee hence. Unworthy though thou art, I'll cope with thee and do some service to Duke Humphrey's ghost.
What stronger breastplate than a heart untainted? Thrice is he armed that hath his quarrel just, and he but naked, though locked up in steel, whose conscience with injustice is corrupted.
What noise is this?
Well, how now, lords? Your wrathful weapons drawn here in our presence. Dare you be so bold? Why, what tumultuous clamour have we here?
The traitorous Warwick, with the men of Bury, set all upon me, mighty sovereign.
Sir, stand apart. The king shall know your mind. My dread lord, the commons send you word by me. Unless Lord Suffolk straight be done to death, or banished England's territories, they will, by violence, tear him from your palace and torture him with grievous lingering death. They say, by him the good Duke Humphrey died. They say, in him they fear your highness' death. They say, in care of your most royal person, that if your highness should intend to sleep, and charge that no man should disturb your rest in pain of your dislike or pain of death, yet notwithstanding such strait edict, were there a serpent seen with forked tongue that slyly glided toward your majesty, it were but necessary you were waked, lest being suffered in that harmful slumber, the mortal worm might make the sleep eternal. And therefore did they cry, though you forbid, that they will guard you where you will or no from such fell serpents as false Suffolk is, whose envenomed and fatal sting your loving uncle, 20 times his worth, they say, is shamefully bereft of life.
An answer from the king, my lord Salisbury. An answer from the king, or we will all break in.
Go, Salisbury, and tell them all from me, I thank them for their tender, loving care. And had I not been cited so by them, yet did I purpose as they do entreat, for sure my thoughts do hourly prophesy mischance upon my state by Suffolk's means. And therefore by his majesty I swear, whose far unworthy deputy I am, he shall not breathe infection in this air but 3 days longer on the pain of death.
Oh, Henry, let me plead for gentle Suffolk.
Ungentle queen, to call him gentle Suffolk. No more, I say. If thou dost plead for him, thou wilt but add increase unto my wrath. Had I but said, I would have kept my word. But when I swear, it is irrevocable. If after 3 days' space thou here beest found on any ground that I am ruler of, the world shall not be my love. Come, Warwick. Come, good Warwick. Go with me. I have great matters to impart to thee.
Mischance and sorrow go along with you. Heart's discontent and sour affliction be playfellows to keep you company. There's 2 of you, the devil's a 3rd, and 3-fold vengeance tend upon your steps.
Cease, gentle queen, these execrations, and let thy Suffolk take his heavy leave.
Fie, coward woman, and soft-hearted wretch! Hast not thou spirit to curse thine own enemy?
A plague upon them! Poison be their drink, gall, worse than gall, the daintiest that they taste, their sweetest shade, a grove of cypress trees, their chiefest prospect, murdering basilisks, their softest touch as smart as lizard stings, their music frightful as the serpent's hiss, and boding screech owls make their consort full, all the foul terrors in dark-seated hell.
Sweet Suffolk, thou torments thyself, and these dread curses, like the sun against glass, or like an overcharged gun, recoil and turn the force of them upon thyself.
You bade me ban, and will you bid me leave? Now by the ground I am banished from, well could I curse away a winter's night, though standing naked on a mountain top where biting cold would never let grass grow, and think it but a minute spent in sport.
Let me entreat thee cease. Give me thy hand, that I may dew it with my mournful tears, nor let the rain of heaven wet this place, to wash away my woeful monuments. Oh, think upon these by thy seal, that thou mightst think through whom 1,000 sighs are breathed for thee. So, get thee gone, that I may know my grief. 'Tis but surmised while thou art standing by, as one that surfeits thinking on a want. I will repeal thee, or be well assured, adventure to be banished myself, and banished I am, if but from thee. Go, speak not to me, even now be gone. Oh, go not yet! Even thus two friends condemned, embrace and kiss, and take 10,000 leaves, loather 100 times to part than die. Yet now farewell, and farewell life with thee.
Thus is poor Suffolk 10 times banished, once by the king, and 3 times thrice by thee. 'Tis not the land I care for. Wert thou thence, a wilderness is populous enough. So Suffolk had thy heavenly company, for where thou art, there is the world itself, with every several pleasure in the world, and where thou art not, desolation. I can no more. Live thou to joy thy life, myself no joy in naught, but that thou livest.
Oh. Whither goes Vox so fast? What news, I prithee?
To signify unto his majesty that Cardinal Beaufort is at point of death, for suddenly a grievous sickness took him, that makes him gasp and stare and catch the air, blaspheming God and cursing men on earth. Sometime he talks as if Duke Humphrey's ghost were by his side. Sometime he calls the king and whispers to his pillow as to him the secrets of his overcharged soul. And I am sent to tell his majesty that even now he cries aloud for him.
Go tell this heavy message to the king. Ay me, what is this world? What news are these? But wherefore grieve I at an hour's poor loss, omitting Suffolk's exile, my soul's treasure? Now, get thee hence, the king thou knowest is coming. If thou be found by me, thou art but dead.
If I depart from thee, I cannot live. And in thy sight to die, what were it else but like a pleasant slumber in thy lap? Here I could breathe my soul into the air, as mild and gentle as the cradle babe dying with mother's dug between its lips, where from thy sight I should be raging mad and cry out for thee to close up mine eyes, to have thee with thy lips to stop my mouth. So shouldst thou either turn my flying soul, or should I breathe it into thy body? To die by thee were but to die in jest. From thee to die were torture more than death. Oh, let me stay, befall what may befall.
Away, though parting be a fretful corrosive, it is applied to a deathful wound. To France, sweet Suffolk, let me hear from thee, for where'er thou art in this world's globe, I'll have an iris that shall find thee out.
I go.
And take my heart with thee.
A jewel locked into the woefulest cask that ever did contain a thing of worth. Even as a splitted bark so sunder we. This way fall I to death.
This way for me.
Exeunt severally. Act 3, Scene 3. Enter the King, Salisbury, and Warwick to the Cardinal in bed, raving and staring as if he were mad.
How fares my lord? Speak, Beaufort, to thy sovereign.
If thou be his death, I'll give thee England's treasure, enough to purchase such another island, so thou wilt let me live and feel no pain.
Oh, what a sign it is of evil life where death's approach is seen so terrible.
Beauford, it is thy sovereign speaks to thee.
Bring me unto my trial, when you will. Died he not in his bed? Where should he die? Can I make men live where they do all know? Oh, torture me no more. I will confess. Alive again. Then show me where he is. I'll give £1,000 to look on him. Oh, he hath no eyes. The dust hath blinded them. Comb down his hair. Look, it stands upright, like lime twig that set to catch my winged soul. Give me some drink, that I did bid the apothecary bring me the strong poison that I bought for him.
Oh, thou eternal mover of the heavens, look with gentle eye upon this wretch. Oh, beat away the busy meddling fiend that lays strong siege unto this wretch's soul, and from his bosom purge this black despair.
See how the pangs of death do make him grin.
Disturb him not. Let him pass peaceably.
Peace to his soul, if God's good pleasure be. Lord Cardinal, if thou think'st on heaven's bliss, hold up thy hand. Make signal of thy hope. He dies, and makes no sign. O God, forgive him.
So bad a death argues a monstrous life.
Forbear to judge, for we are sinners all. Close up his eyes, and draw the curtain close, and let us all to meditation.
Exeunt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our interval. You will now have 10 minutes to refresh your drinks, refresh yourselves. If you'd like to stick around, of course, please feel free to send in any questions that you might have, either for myself, the cast, or for Charlene. Actors, of course, you have 10 minutes now to refresh yourselves and rest yourselves ready for the second half to commence at about 9:10. Thank you so much. Hello there, Sarah. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Wonderful,
Amazing
wonderful.
First half.
Enjoy that first half?
Oh, yes.
Me too. Fantastic.
Suitably epic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We've had a couple of questions come through, which is awesome. Just going to get them up.
Cool.
Moment. Okay. So, actually, we had one for you, Rob.
All right. Okay.
Just to start us off, so someone was asking, are you still learning about this format? So each week the plays seem stronger, and they particularly asked with regard to the ensemble scenes that they must be really difficult to put together.
Yes, certainly. Yes, they do come with challenges, and Shakespeare in his writing is obviously getting more ambitious play by play. It feels like as well. Two Gentlemen of Verona was the first one that we did. I'm not saying that that's the authoritative chronology by any means, but it was certainly much simpler than the histories, and he seems to have gone on quite a steep curve into these sort of blockbusters with huge crowds of people. So it is in a way difficult, but also not, in that we have a tremendous cast of actors who are incredibly committed, and as soon as you kind of give them the diagram that we got from Ben Crystal's website, shakespeareswords.com, that kind of explains everybody's allegiances and opinions about each other, the actors are really great at kind of going through all the text and finding those moments where they either support what's being said or object to what's being said, and that naturally kind of brings everything to life so much more than it might otherwise do. So yes, we are still learning the format every week. We are aiming to try and improve the way we do things every week, sometimes in subtle ways, sometimes in less subtle ways. But it's been a fascinating exploration with this play so far, because as I'm sure you've already seen, and there's more to come, this is probably the most variety show of the plays that we've had so far. These extreme swings, as Charlene so beautifully pointed out, in kind of tone and style, public and private, and so on and so forth, have really kind of tested us in order to try and nail not just obviously the mood of each of those scenes in isolation, but then the kind of navigating the path through those scenes as well. Charlene, how are you finding it so far?
I'm having a great time listening. It's really wonderful experiencing this play this way, because there's like new things you get to pick up on and enjoy in this format.
Absolutely. Sarah, any more questions?
Yes. Ad, as you're here, we had someone ask, are you in a sauna?
No, I'm in a cabin in the middle of nowhere in Iceland, and I can see where the confusion would come. It looks very sauna-esque, but no, it's a cabin. If it were a sauna, I definitely wouldn't be wearing this much.
Maybe in a future show.
You never know. I mean,
Charlene, are you aware of any saunas in Shakespeare's opera?
Yeah.
I mean, not in the original text, but I have seen the Iachimo scenes in Cymbeline played as though they were in a sauna.
Nice, yeah,
Really?
kind of Roman bath kind of feel. Yeah, very good, very good. Lachlan, yes.
Yeah, I've done a significant section of Twelfth Night in a sauna before. So.
Of course.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I love it. We've got one here. I know we've still got a few actors are on break, but we've been asked how many countries are represented by the actors here.
Ooh, that's a good question.
So we've obviously got, well, if we're talking
Iceland.
sort of Iceland.
Iceland.
Yes. We've got various parts of the UK and the US. So where everyone's, I know we've got, I think, LA.
America.
No, is it?
Living in England.
And you're down in Bristol.
Yeah, I'm getting my at the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, which is lovely, and I wish we could do classes in person. But then, theatre online.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so a good mix, as always. We tend to get at least kind of 3 or 4 different countries, and obviously it's misleading with the states that they're one country, despite the fact of being the size of several per state. It's a big old place, isn't it? Cool. I've got one here actually for Warwick, if Warwick's about. Have we got Warwick? Hello there. Hi, Alix. Someone's just asked about your preparation and what you relate to about Warwick, which I thought was quite interesting.
Oh, gosh. Well, it's very different from characters I usually play. I'm usually sort of very buttoned up and repressed and posh and icy. So I really had fun getting angry. And my preparation was trying to work out who I liked and who I didn't. And then just going for those really strongly.
Absolutely. Playing those divisions to the hilts, I think, is essential, in the audience understanding all these relationships as well. Sarah, do you have any more?
Yes, so I've got one for Charlene. Just trying to... Oh, yes, you are there. So someone has asked a sort of a 2-part question. What is your favourite scene in this play? Obviously, not giving any spoilers for the second half, probably. And also, what's your favourite Shakespeare play in general? Oh, can you hear us, Charlene?
I think I missed the first part of that, so I didn't know it was to me.
This is all for you.
As I mentioned in the intro, definitely Suffolk and Margaret's goodbye is my favorite scene in this play, and maybe in the entire canon. I just think it's the writing and the poetry and the emotion expressed is really gutting and beautiful, and it gets me every time. I also think it's incredible because if you look over, I mean, the arc of Margaret, but really all these characters, they all do some pretty terrible things, and I find it remarkable the way we're still led to care about them and feel for them. I don't know what my favorite play right now is. I think for many people it changes, and for a very long while it was Measure for Measure, but that's a play I've put to the side for the moment, just because I particularly recently found it very stressful in terms of subject matter, and I don't want to go see a production of it unless I know it's going to be handled responsibly. So I'm sort of at this point right now where I'm like, I'm not sure what top of the list is at the moment.
Awesome, thank you. Cool. Okay. I was just thinking, Rob, actually, before we go on to a couple more questions,
yes,
I'd like to do a little shout out to our new patrons.
Of course, yes,
If
yes,
that's
absolutely do.
all
So, for
right.
those of you that are still listening, a couple of things to cover. First of all, we have a Patreon, which has been set up as an opt-in hardship fund for our actors. So that means anybody that's involved in the show, month by month, can opt in to receive a share of the donations that our audience very kindly give. And Sarah's going to read out some of our wonderful patrons that have been added since last week.
Yes, so we've got a huge thank you to all of our patrons. Our new ones we've had this week are Julie B, Tekla R, Zena T, TS, Ashley H, Mark M, Kenneth W, Cynthia F, Michael C, Agatha M, Hydran A, Joe H, and Linda H. So a huge thank you to all of you. It means so much to see your support coming through.
Wonderful. We also have our die-hard tradition now, which is to tweet at Sir Pat Stew and let him know about what we've got going on. If you are enjoying the shows, and if you would like to see Patrick Stewart take a role in one of these shows in the future, I'm sure we would enjoy that a great deal as well. So please go and tweet at Sir Pat Stew and let him know what we've got going on here. Equally, if you want to tell your friends about it, please use the hashtags Show Must Go Online. You can tweet me at Rob Miles, and you can find us at The Show Must Go Online on Instagram and Facebook. So please do spread the word so that you've got more friends to join you here next week. That would be wonderful. So we're currently 1 minute away from starting the second half. So if I can ask the actors to retreat to the tiring house, we are about to begin. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. Fabulous. And so, without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the second half of Henry IV, Henry VI, in fact, part 2.
Act 4, Scene 1. Enter Lieutenant, Shipmaster and his mate, Walter Whitmore and others. With them, Suffolk disguised and other gentlemen, prisoners.
The gaudy, babbling and remorseful day is crept into the bosom of the sea, and now loud howling wolves arouse the jades that drag the melancholy night, who with their drowsy, slow, and flagging wings cleap dead men's graves, and from their misty draws breathe foul, contagious darkness in the air. Therefore bring forth the soldiers of our prize, for whilst our pinnace ink anchors in the downs, here shall they make their ransom on the sand, or with their blood stain this discoloured shore. Master, this prisoner freely I give thee, and thou that art his mate, make boot of this. The other, Walter Whitmore, is thy share.
What is my ransom, master? Let me know.
1,000 crowns, or else lay down your head.
And so much shall you give, or off goes yours.
I'll give it, sir, and therefore spare my life.
So will I, and ride home for it straight.
I lost mine iron laying the prize aboard, and therefore to revenge shalt thou die, and so should these, if I might have my will.
Be not so rash. Take ransom, let him live.
Look on, my George. I am a gentleman. Rate me at what thou wilt, thou shalt be paid.
Why, and so am I. My name is Walter Whitmore. How now? What, doth death affright?
Thy name affrights me, in whose is death. A cunning man did calculate my birth, and told me that by water I should die. Yet let not this make thee be bloody-minded. Thy name is Gualtier, being rightly sounded.
Gualtier or Walter, which it is, I care not. Never yet did base dishonour blur our name, but with our sword we wiped the blot away. Therefore, when merchant like I sell revenge, broke be my sword, my arms torn and defaced, and I proclaimed a coward through the world.
Stay, Whitmore, for thy prisoner is a prince, the Duke of Suffolk, William de la Pole.
The Duke of Suffolk, muffled up in rags?
Aye, but these rags are no part of the Duke. Jove sometime went disguised, and why not I?
But Jove was never slain as thou shalt be.
Obscure and lousy swain, King Henry's blood, the honourable blood of Lancaster, must not be shed by such a jaded groom. This hand of mine hath writ in thy behalf, and therefore shall it charm thy riotous tongue.
Oh, speak, Captain, shall I stab the forlorn swain?
First let my words stab him, as he hath me.
Base slave, thy words are blunt, and so art thou.
Convey him hence, and on our long bald side strike off his head.
Thou darest not for thy own.
Yes, Poole.
Poole?
Poole, Sir Poole, Lord, I, kennel, puddle, sink, whose filth and dirt troubles the silver string where England drinks. Thy lips that kiss the Queen shall sweep the ground, and thou that smilest at good Duke Humphrey's death against the senseless winds shall grin in vain. Who in contempt shall hiss at thee again, and wedded be thou to the hags of hell, for daring to affy a mighty lord unto the daughter of a worthless king, having neither subject, wealth, nor diadem. By thee, Anjou and Maid were sold to France, the princely Warwick and the Nevilles all, whose dreadful swords were never drawn in vain, as hating thee are rising up in arms. And now the house of York, thrust from the crown by shameful murder of a guiltless king, and lofty, proud, encroaching tyranny burns with revenging fire. Convey him hence.
Oh, that I were a god to shoot forth thunder upon these paltry, servile, abject drudges. It is impossible that I should die by such a lowly vassal as thyself. Thy words move rage and not remorse in me.
Aye, but thy deeds shall stay thy fury soon.
I go of message from the Queen to France. I charge thee, waft me safely across the channel.
Come, Suffolk, I must waft thee to thy death. What, are you daunted now? Now will you stoop?
My gracious lord, entreat him, speak him fair.
Suffolk's imperial tongue is stern and rough, used to command, untaught to plead for favour. Far be it we should honour such as these with humble suit. No, rather let my head stoop to the block, than these knees bow to any, save to the God of heaven and to my king. True nobility is exempt from fear. More can I bear than you dare execute.
Hail him away, and let him talk no more.
Come, soldiers, show what cruelty ye can.
And as of these whose ransom we have set, it is our pleasure one of them depart. Therefore, come you with us and let him go.
There let his head and lifeless body lie until the Queen, his mistress, bury it.
O barbarous and bloody spectacle! His body will I bear unto the king. If he revenge it not, yet will his friends, so will the Queen that loving held him dear.
Exit. Act 4, Scene 2. Enter George Bevis and John Holland with long staves.
Tom, get thee a sword. Thou made it laugh. They have been up these 2 days.
They have the more need to sleep now, then.
I tell thee, Jack Cade the clothier means to dress the Commonwealth, and turn it, set a new nap upon it.
So he had need, but is threadbare. Well, I say, it was never merry world in England since gentlemen came up.
Oh, miserable age. Virtue is not regarded in handicraftsmen.
The nobility thinks scorn to go in leather aprons.
Nay more, the king's council are no good workmen.
True, and yet it is said, labour in thy vocation, which is as much to say as, let the magistrates be labouring men, and therefore should we be magistrates.
Thou hast hit it. There's no better sign of a brave mind than a hard hand.
I see them. I see them. There's Best's son, the tanner of Wingham.
He shall have the skins of our enemies to make dog's leather of.
And Dick, the butcher.
Then his sin struck down like an ox, and iniquity's throat cut like a calf.
And Smith, the weaver.
Ergo, the thread of life is spun.
Come, come, let's fall in with them.
We, John Cade, so terms of our supposed father,
or rather the stealing of a cade of herrings,
for our enemies shall fall before us, inspired with the spirit of putting down kings and princes, command silence.
Silence!
My father was a Mortimer.
He was an honest man and a good bricklayer.
My mother a Plantagenet.
I knew her well. She was a midwife.
My wife descended of the Lacys.
She was indeed a pedlar's daughter and sold many laces.
Now of late, not able to travel with her third pack, she washes bucks here at home.
Therefore am I of an honourable house.
I by faith, the field is honourable, and there was he born under a hedge, for his father had never a house but the cage.
Valiant I am.
And must needs, for beggary is valiant.
I am able to endure much.
No question of that, for have I seen him whipped 3 market days together?
I fear neither sword nor fire.
He needs not fear the sword, for his coat is of proof.
But methinks he should stand in fear of fire, being burnt in the hand for stealing of sheep.
Be brave then, for your captain is brave and vows reformation. There shall be in England 7 halfpenny loaves sold for a penny. The 3 hoops pot shall have 10 hoops, and I will make it felony to drink small beer.
Yeah.
All the realm shall be in common, and in sheepside shall my palfrey go to grass. And when I am king, as king I will be,
God save
your majesty.
Oh, thank you, good people. There shall be no money. All shall eat and drink on my score. And I will apparel them all in one livery, that they may agree like brothers and worship me, their lord.
The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers.
No doubt worthy to do. Is not this a lamentable thing? That of the skin of an innocent lamb should be made parchment? That parchment, being scribbled on, should undo a man? Some say the bee stings, but I say 'tis the bee's wax.
Yeah.
I did but once to a thing, and I was never mine own man since. Hannah, who's there?
The clerk of Chatham. He can write and read and cast a compt.
Oh, monstrous.
We took him setting of boys' copies.
He's a villain.
Has a book in his pocket with red letters in it.
Right, then he's a conjurer.
Nay, he can make obligations and write court hand.
I am sorry for it. The man is a proper man of mine honour. Unless I find him guilty, he shall not die. However, Cyril, I must examine thee. what is thy name?
Emmanuel.
And dost thou use to write thy name, or hast thou a mark to thyself like an honest plain dealing man?
Sir, I thank God I have been brought up so well that I can write my name.
He is confessed! Oh, he's confessed
He's
so
a
well!
villain and a traitor!
Villain!
Play with him, I say! Hang him with his pen and inkhorn about his neck!
Where's our general?
Here I am, thou particular fellow.
Oh, fly, fly, fly. Sir Humphrey Stafford and his brother are hard by with the king's forces.
Stand, villain, stand, or I'll fell thee down. He shall be in cow-tread with a man as good as himself. He is but a knight, is he?
Oh, no.
To equal him, I will make myself a knight presently. I'll rise up, Sir John Mortimer. Grab at him!
Rebellious hinds, the filth and scum of Kent, marked for the gallows. Lay your weapons down, home to your cottages, forsake this groom. The king is merciful if you revolt.
But be angry, wrathful, and inclined to blood. If you go forward, therefore yield or die.
As for these silken-coated slaves, I pass not. It is to you, good people, that I speak, over whom in time to come I hope to reign, for I am rightful heir unto the crown.
Villain, thy father was a plasterer, and thou thyself a shearman, art thou not?
And Adam was a gardener.
And what of that?
Marry this. Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March, married the Duke of Paris' daughter, did he not?
Aye, sir.
Like her, he had 2 children at one birth.
That is false.
There's the question, but I say 'tis true. The elder of them, being put to nurse, was by a beggar woman stolen away, and ignorant of his birth and parentage, became a bricklayer when he came to age. His son am I, deny it if you can.
Nay, 'tis too true, he shall be king.
Sir, he made a chimney in my father's ass, and the bricks are alive at this day to testify it. Therefore, deny it not.
And will you credit this base drudge's words? That speaks he knows not what.
Aye, get ye gone, we will.
Get ye
gone.
Jack Cade, the Duke of York hath taught you this.
He lies, for I invented it myself. Go to Sirrah, tell the king from me that, for his father's sake, Henry V, I am content he shall reign, but I'll be protector over him.
And, furthermore, we'll have the Lord Say's head for selling a dukedom to Maine.
And good reason, for thereby is England maimed, and fain to go with a staff, but that my puissance holds it up. Fellow kings, I tell you that Lord Say hath gilded the Commonwealth and made it an eunuch. And more than that, he can speak French, and therefore he is a traitor.
Oh, gross and miserable ignorance.
Nay, answer if you can. The Frenchmen are our enemies.
Yes.
So too, then, I ask but this, can he that speaks with the tongue of an enemy be a good counsellor or no?
No, let's have his head.
Well, seeing gentle words will not prevail, assail them with the army of the king.
Herald away, and throughout every town proclaim them traitors that are up with Cade, that those which fly before the battle ends may, even in their wives' and children's sight, be hanged up for example at their doors. And you that be the king's friends, follow me.
And you that love the commons, follow me! Show yourselves men, 'tis for liberty. We will not leave one lord, one gentleman, spare none as such as go in clouted shoon, for they are thrifty honest men, and such as would, but that they dare not, take our parts.
They are all in order and march toward us.
But then are we in order when we are most out of order? Come, march forward! Where's Dick, the butcher of Ashford?
Here, sir.
They fell before thee like sheep and oxen. And thou behavest thyself as if thou hadst been in thine own slaughterhouse. Therefore, thus will I reward thee. The Lent shall be as long again as it is, and thou shalt have a license to kill for 100 lacking one.
I desire no more.
And to speak truth, thou deservest no less. This monument of the victory will I bear, and the bodies being dragged at my horse heels till I come to London, where we will have the mayor's sword borne before us.
If we mean to thrive and do good, break open the jails and let out the prisoners.
I fear not that, I warrant thee. Come, let's march towards London.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 4. Enter the King with a supplication, and the Queen with Suffolk's head, the Duke of Buckingham, and the Lord say.
Oft have I heard that grief softens the mind and makes it fearful and degenerate. Therefore, think on revenge and cease to weep. But who can cease to weep and look on this? Here may his head lie on my throbbing breast. But where is the body that I should embrace?
What answer makes your grace to the rebel's supplication?
I'll send some holy bishop to entreat. For God forbid so many simple souls should perish by the sword, and I myself, rather than bloody war shall cut them short, will parley with Jack Cade, their general. But stay, I'll read it over once again.
Ah, barbarous villains! Hath this lovely face ruled like the wandering planet over me? And could it not enforce them to relent that were unworthy to behold the same?
Lord say, Jack Cade hath sworn to have thy head.
Aye, but I hope your highness shall have his.
How now, madam? Still lamenting and mourning for Suffolk's death. I fear me, love, that if I had been dead, thou wouldst not have mourned so much for me.
No, my love, I should not mourn, but die for thee.
Now, what?
The rebels are in Suffolk. Fly, my lord. Jack Cade proclaims himself Lord Mortimer, descended from the Duke of Clarence's house, and calls your grace usurper openly, and vows to crown himself in Westminster. His army is a ragged multitude of hinds and peasants, rude and merciless, all scholars, lawyers, courtiers, gentlemen. They call false caterpillars and intend their death.
Oh, Graceland, they know not what they do.
My gracious lord, retire to Killingworth until a power be raised to put them down.
Ah, were the Duke of Suffolk now alive, these Kentish rebels would soon be appeased.
Lord, say that they're away with us.
Oh, might your grace's person be in danger? The sight of me is odious in their eyes, and therefore in this city will I stay and live long as secret as I may.
Jack Cade hath gotten London Bridge. The citizens fly and forsake their houses. The rascal people, thirsting after prey, join with the traitor, and they jointly swear to spoil the city and your royal court.
And linger not, my lord. Away, take horse!
Come, Margaret, God, our hope, will succor us.
My hope is gone. Now Suffolk is deceased.
Farewell, my lord. Trust not the Kentish rebels.
Trust nobody, for fear you be betrayed.
The trust I have is in mine innocence, and therefore am I bold and resolute.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 5. Enter Lord Scales upon the tower walking. Then enters 2 or 3 citizens below.
How now? Is Jack Cade slain?
No, my lord, nor likely to be slain, for they have won the bridge, killing all those that withstand them. The Lord Mayor craves from your honor, from the tower, to defend the city from the rebels.
Such aid as I can spare you shall command, but I am troubled here with them myself. The rebels have essayed to win the tower, but get you to Smithfield and gather head, and thither I will send you Matthew Goff. Fight for your king, your country, and your lives, and so farewell, for I must hence again.
Act 4, Scene 6. Enter Jack Cade and the rest, and strikes his staff on London stone.
Now is Mortimer lord of this city. And here, sitting upon London stone, I charge and command that of the city's cost, the pissing conduit run nothing but claret wine this first year of our reign. And now, henceforward, it shall be treason for any that calls me other than Lord Mortimer.
Jack Cade! Jack Cade!
If this fellow be wise, he'll never call ye Jack Cade more. I think he has a very fair warning. Ah!
My lord, there's an army gathering together at Smithick.
Oh, come then. Let's go fight with them. But first, go and set London Bridge on fire. And if you can, burn down the tower too. Come, let's away! So, sirs, now go some and pull down the Savoy, others to the Inns of Court. Down with them all.
I have a suit unto your lordship.
Be it a lordship, thou shalt have it for that word.
Only that the laws of England may come out of your mouth.
Mass, 'twill be a sore law then, for he was thrust in the mouth with a spear, and 'tis not whole yet.
Nay, John, it'll be stinking law, for his breath stinks with eating toasted cheese.
I thought upon it. It shall be so. Way, burn all the records of the realm. My mouth shall be the Parliament of England.
Then we are like to have biting statutes, unless his teeth be pulled out.
And henceforth all things shall be in common.
Yeah!
Who goes there? Speaking of a prize?
My lord, a prize. He's the Lord Say, which sold the towns in France. He that made us pay 1 and 20 15s and 1 shilling on the pound, the last subsidy.
Wow. He shall be beheaded for it 10 times. Ah, thou Say, thou surge, nay, thou buckram lord. Now art thou within the point blank of our jurisdiction regal? What canst thou answer to my majesty for giving up Normandy unto the Dauphin of France? Be it known to thee, unto thee, by these presents, even the presence of Lord Mortimer, that I am the besom that must sweep the court clean of such filth as thou art. Thou hast most traitorously corrupted the youth of the realm in erecting a grammar school.
Oh!
And Whereas before, our forefathers had no books but the score and the tally, thou hast caused printing to be used, and contrary to the king, his crown and dignity, thou hast built a paper mill. It will be proved to thy face that thou hast men about thee that usually talk of a noun and a verb, and such abominable words as no Christian ear can endure to hear. Thou hast appointed justices of peace to call poor men before them about matters they were not able to answer. Moreover, thou hast put them in prison, and because they could not read, thou hast hanged them, when indeed only for that cause they have been most worthy to live. Thou dost ride in a footcloth, dost thou not?
What of that?
Marry, thou oughtst not to let thy horse wear a cloak when honester men than thou go in their hose and doublets.
And work in their shirt too, as myself, for example, that am a butcher.
You men of Kent.
What say you of Kent?
Nothing but this. 'Tis Bonatera Malagens.
Away with him, he speaks Latin!
Hear me, but speak and bear me where you will. I sold not Maine, I lost not Normandy, yet to recover them would lose my life. Knowledge the wing wherewith we fly to heaven. Unless you be possessed with devilish spirits, you cannot but forbear to murder me. This tongue hath parleyed unto the foreign kings for your behoof.
Hut, when struckest thou one blow in the field?
Great men have reaching hands. Oft have I struck those that I never saw, and struck them dead.
Oh, monstrous coward, what to come behind, folks?
These cheeks are pale for watching for your good.
Give him a box of the ear, that will make him red again.
Why dost thou quiver, man?
The palsy, and not fear, provokes me.
Nay, he nods at us as who would say, I'll be even with you. I'll see if his head will stand steadier on a pole or no. Take him away and behead him.
Tell me, wherein have I offended most? Oh, let me live.
Away with him. He has a familiar under his tongue. He speaks not a God's name. Go, take him away, I say, and strike off his head presently, and then break him to his son-in-law's house, Sir James Cromer, and strike off his head, and then bring them both unto 2 poles hither. Yeah!
It shall be done.
Countrymen, if when you make your prayers, God should be so obdurate as yourselves, how would it fare with your departed souls? And therefore yet relent and save my life.
Away with him and do as I command ye. The proudest peer in the realm shall not wear a head on his shoulders unless he pay me tribute.
My lord, when shall we go to Cheapside and take up commodities on our bills?
Marry, presently.
Oh, brave!
Oh, is not this braver? Let them kiss one another, for they loved well when they were alive. Now, part them again, lest they consult about their giving up some more towns in France. Soldiers, defer the spoil of the city until night. For with these born before us instead of maces, we will ride through the streets and at every corner have them kiss. Away! Down St. Magnus Corner! Kill and knock down! Throw them into Thames! What noise is this I hear? Dare any be so bold to sound retreat or parley when I command them kill?
Aye, here they be that dare and will disturb thee. No, Cade, we come ambassadors from the king unto the commons, whom thou hast misled, and here pronounce free pardon to them all that will forsake thee and go home in peace.
What say ye, countrymen? Will ye relent and yield to mercy whilst 'tis offered you? Or let a rebel lead you to your deaths, who loves the king and will embrace his pardon, fling up his cap and say, God save his majesty!
God save his majesty!
God save the king!
God save his majesty!
Save the king!
Buckingham and Clifford, are you so brave? On you base peasants, do you believe him? Will you needs be hanged with your pardons round your necks? Hath my sword therefore broke through London gates, that you should leave me at the White Hart in Suffolk? I thought ye would never have given out these arms till you had recovered your ancient freedom. But you were all recreants and dastards, and delight to live in slavery to the nobility. Why not let them break your backs with burdens, take your houses over your heads, ravish your wives and daughters before your faces? For me, I will make shrift for one, and so God's curse light upon you all.
We'll follow Cade! We'll follow Cade!
Is Cade the son of Henry V, that thus you do exclaim you'll go with him? Will he conduct you through the heart of France and make the meanest of you earls and dukes? Alas, he hath no home, no place to fly to, nor knows he how to live, but by the spoil, unless by robbing of your friends and us. Were't not a shame that whilst you live at Jar, the fearful French, whom you late vanquished, should make a start o'erseas and vanquish you? To France, and get what you have lost. Spare England, for it is your native coast. Henry hath money, you are strong, and God on our side, doubt not of victory.
A Clifford! We'll follow the king and Clifford!
Was ever feather so lightly blown to and fro as this multitude? The name of Henry V hails them to 100 mischiefs and makes them leave me desolate. I see them lay their heads together to surprise me. My sword make way for me, for here is no staying. In despite of devils and hell have through the very midst of you, and heavens and honour be witness that no want of resolution in me, but only my followers' base and ignominious treasons makes me betake to my heels.
What? Is he fled? Go some and follow him, and he that brings his head unto the king shall have 1,000 crowns for his reward. Follow me, soldiers. We'll devise a mean to reconcile you all unto the king.
Exeunt.
Act 4, Scene 9. Enter King, Queen, and Somerset on the terrace.
Was ever king that joyed an earthly throne and could command no more content than I? No sooner was I crept out of my cradle, but I was made a king. At 9 months old, was never subject, longed to be a king, as I do long and wish to be a subject.
Health and glad tidings to your majesty.
Why, Buckingham, is the traitor Cade surprised, or is he retired to make him strong?
He is fled, my lord, and all his powers do yield, and humbly thus, with halters on their necks, expect your highness' doom of life or death.
Then, heaven, set ope thy everlasting gates to entertain my vows of thanks and praise. Soldiers, this day you have redeemed your lives and showed how well you love your prince and country. Continue still in this so good a mind, and Henry, though he be infortunate, assure yourselves will never be unkind. And so, with thanks and pardon to you all, I do dismiss you to your several countries.
God save the king! God save the king! Please at your grace to be advertised the Duke of York is newly come from Ireland, and with a Swiss aunt and a mighty power of galloglasters and stout kerns is marching hitherward in proud array, and still proclaimeth as he comes along his arms are only to remove from thee the Duke of Somerset, whom he terms a traitor.
Thus stands my state, twixt Cade and York distressed, like to a ship that, having scaped a tempest, is straightway calmed and boarded with a pirate. I pray thee, Buckingham, go and meet him, and ask him what's the reason of these arms. Tell him I'll send Duke Edmund to the Tower, and Somerset, we will commit thee thither until his army be dismissed from him.
My lord, I'll yield myself to prison willingly, or unto death, to do my country good.
In any case, be not too rough in terms, for he is fierce, and cannot brook hard language.
I will, my lord, and doubt not so to deal as all things should redound unto your good.
Come, wife, let's in, and learn to govern better, for yet may England curse my wretched reign.
Exit. Act 4, Scene 10. Enter Cade.
Fie on ambitions. Fie on myself, that have a sword, and yet am ready to famish. These 5 days have I hid me in these woods, and durst not peep out, for all the country is laid for me. But now I am so hungry that if I might lease of my life for 1,000 years, I could stay no longer. Wherefore, on a brick wall have I climbed into this garden to see if I can eat grass or pick a salad another while, which is not amiss to cool a man's stomach this hot weather.
Lord, who would live turmoiled in the court and may enjoy such quiet walks as these?
He's the lord of the soil come to seize me for a stray, for entering his fee simple without leave. Oh, villain! Thou wilt betray me and get 1,000 crowns of the king by carrying my head to him, but I'll make thee eat iron like an ostrich and swallow my sword like a great pin ere thou and I part.
Why, rude companion, whatsoever thou be, I know thee not. Why then should I betray thee?
Look on me well. I have eat no meat these 5 days. Yet come thou, and thou 5 men, and if I do not leave you all as dead as a doornail, I pray God I may never eat grass more.
Nay, and it shall ne'er be said while England stands that Alexander Iden, an esquire of Kent, took odds to combat a poor famished man. As for words, whose greatness answers words, let this my sword report what speech forbears.
I'm slain! Famine and no other has slain me. Let 10,000 devils come against me and give me but the 10 meals I have lost, and I defy them all. The unconquered soul of Cade is fled.
Is it Cade that I have slain? That monstrous traitor? Oh, sword, I will harry thee for this thy deed.
Iden, farewell, and be proud of thy victory. Tell Kent from me, she hath lost her best man, and exhort all the world to be cowards. For I, that never feared any, am vanquished by famine, not by valour.
Hence will I drag thee headlong by the heels unto a dunghill, which shall be thy grave, and there cut off thy most ungracious head, which I will bear in triumph to the king, leaving thy trunk for crows to feed upon.
Exit.
Act 5, Scene 1. Fields between Dartford and Blackheath. Enter York.
From Ireland thus comes York to claim his right and pluck the crown from feeble Henry's head. Ring bells aloud, burn bonfires clear and bright to entertain great England's lawful king. Whom have we here? Buckingham, to disturb me. The king hath sent him sure. I must dissemble.
York, if thou meanest well, I greet thee well.
Humphrey of Buckingham, I accept thy greeting. Art thou a messenger or come of pleasure?
A messenger from Henry, our dread liege, to know the reason of these arms in peace.
The cause why I have brought this army hither is to remove proud Somerset from the king, seditious to his grace and to the state.
That is too much presumption on thy part. But if thy arms be to no other end, the king hath yielded unto thy demand. The Duke of Somerset is in the Tower.
Upon thine honour? Is he prisoner?
On mine honour, he is prisoner.
And Buckingham, I do dismiss my powers. Soldiers, I thank you all. Disperse yourselves. Meet me tomorrow in St. George's Field. You shall have pay and everything you wish. And let my sovereign, virtuous Henry, command my eldest son, nay, all my sons as pledges of my fealty and love. I'll send them all, as willing as I live. Lands, goods, horse, armour, anything I have is his to use. So Somerset may die.
York, I commend this kind submission. We twain will go into his highness's tent.
Buckingham, doth York intend no harm to us, that thus he marcheth with thee arm in arm?
In all submission and humility, York doth present himself unto your highness.
Then what intends these forces thou dost bring?
To heave the traitor Somerset from hence and fight against that monstrous rebel Cade, who since I heard to be discomfited.
If one so rude and of so mean condition may pass into the presence of a king, lo, I present you with your grace, a traitor's head, the head of Cade, whom I in combat slew.
The head of Cade! Great God, how just art thou! Tell me, my friend, art thou the man that slew him?
I was, and like your majesty.
How art thou called, and what is thy degree?
Alexander Iden, that's my name, a poor esquire of Kent that loves his king.
So please you, my lord, 'twere not amiss he were created knight for his good service.
Iden, kneel down. Rise up a knight. We give thee for reward 1,000 marks, and will that thou henceforth attend on us.
May Iden live to merit such a bounty, and never live but true unto his liege.
See, Buckingham, Somerset comes with a queen. Go bid her hide him quickly from the Duke.
1,000 Yorks he shall not hide his head, but boldly stand and front him face to face.
Somerset at liberty. Then York, unloose thy long imprisoned thoughts, and let thy tongue be equal with thy heart. Shall I endure the sight of Somerset, false king? Why hast thou broken faith with me, knowing how hardly I can brook abuse? King, did I call thee? No, thou art not a king. That head of thine doth not become a crown. But that gold must around engirt these brows of mine, who smile and frown like to Achilles' spear, is able with the change to kill and cure. Give place by heaven! Thou shalt rule no more, or him who heaven created for thy ruler.
Monstrous traitor! I arrest thee, York, of capital treason against the king and crown.
Sirrah, call in my sons to be my bail. I know, ere they will have me go to ward, they'll pawn their swords for my enfranchisement.
Call hither Clifford, bid him come amain, to say if that the bastard boys of York shall be the surety for their traitor father.
See where they come. I'll warrant they'll make it good.
And here comes Clifford to deny their bail.
Health and all happiness to my lord the king.
I thank thee, Clifford. Say, what news with thee? Nay, do not fright us with an angry look. We are thy sovereign. Clifford, kneel again for thy mistaking so. We pardon thee.
This is my king, York. I do not mistake, but thou mistakes me much to think I do. To Bedlam with him, is the man grown mad?
Aye, Clifford, a bedlam and ambitious humour makes him oppose himself against his king.
He is a traitor. Let him to the tower and chop away that fascist pate of his.
He is arrested, but will not obey. His sons, he says, shall give their words for him.
Will you not, sons?
Aye, noble father, if our words will serve.
And if words will not, our weapons shall.
Why, what a brood of traitors have we here.
Look in glass and call thy image so. I am the king, and thou a false heart traitor. Call hither to the stake my two brave bears, that they may astonish these fell lurking bears. Bid Salisbury and Warwick come to me.
Are these thy bears? We'll bait thy bears to death if thou darest bring them to the baiting place.
Oft have I seen a hot overweening cur run back and hide, because he was withheld, who being suffered with the bear's fell paw had clapped his tail between his legs and cried. And such a piece of service will you do if you oppose yourselves to match Lord Warwick.
Hence, heap of wrath, foul indigested lump, as crooked in thy manners as thy shape.
Nay, we shall heat you thoroughly anon.
Oh, take heed, lest by your heat you burn yourselves.
Why, Warwick, hath thy knee forgot to bow? Old Salisbury, shame to thy silver hair, thou mad misleader of thy brain-sick son. For shame, in duty, bend thy knee to me that bows unto the grave with mickle age.
My lord, I have considered with myself the title of this most renowned duke, and in my conscience do repute his grace the rightful heir to England's royal seat.
Hast thou not sworn allegiance unto me?
I have.
Canst thou dispense with heaven for such an oath?
It is a great sin to swear unto a sin, but a greater sin to keep a sinful oath.
Call Buckingham, bid him arm himself.
Call Buckingham and all the friends thou hast. I am resolved for death or dignity.
The first I warrant thee, if dreams prove true.
You were best to go to bed and dream again, to keep thee from the tempest of the field.
I am resolved to bear a greater storm than any thou canst conjure up today.
And so to arms, victorious father, to quell the rebels and their accomplices.
Fie, charity for shame! Speak not in spite, for you shall sup with Jesu Christ tonight.
Foul stigmatic, that's more than thou canst tell.
If not in heaven, you'll surely sup in hell.
Exeunt severally.
Act 5, Scene 2, Battlefield at St. Albans. Enter Warwick.
Clifford of Cumberland, 'tis is Warwick calls, proud northern lord, Clifford of Cumberland. Warwick is hoarse with calling thee to arms.
The deadly-handed Clifford slew.
How now, my noble lord? What, all afoot?
The deadly-handed Clifford slew my steed, but match to match I have encountered him, and made a prey for carrion kites and crows, even of the bonny beast he loved so well.
Of one or both of us, the time is come.
Old Warwick, seek thou art some other chase, for I myself must hunt this deer to death.
Then nobly, York, 'tis for a crown thou fight'st. As I intend, Clifford, to thrive today, it grieves my soul to leave thee unassailed.
The fun could on let herbs.
Thus war hath given thee peace, for thou art still. Peace with his soul, heaven, if it be thy will.
Shame and confusion, all is on the rout. Fear frames disorder, and disorder wounds where it should guard. Oh, let this vile world end, and the premised flames of the last day knit earth and heaven together. Now let the general trumpet blow his blast, particularities and petty sounds to cease. Was thou ordained, dear Father, to lose thy youth in peace, and to achieve the silver livery of advised age, and in thy reverence and thy chair days thus to die in ruffian battle? Even at this sight, my heart is turned to stone. Tears virginal shall be to me, even as the dew to fire. Henceforth, I will not have to do with pity. Come, thou new ruin of old Clifford's house.
So lie thou there, for under an alehouse's paltry sign, Somerset, thou hast made the wizard famous in his death. Sword, hold thy temper, heart be wrathful still. Priests pray for enemies, but princes kill.
Away, my lord! You are slow, for shame, away!
We outrun the heavens, good Margaret, stay!
What are you made of? You'll neither fight nor fly? Now is it manhood, wisdom, and defense to give the enemy way and secure us by what we can, which can be no more but fly? Ah! If you retain, then we should see the bottom of all our fortunes. But if we happily escape, we shall to London get, where you are loved, and where this breach now in our fortunes made may be readily stopped.
But that my heart's on future mischief set, I would speak blasphemy ere bid you fly. But fly you must, Uncurable discomfort reigns in the hearts of all our present parts. Away for your relief, and we will live to see their day, and them our fortune give. Away, my lord, away!
Exeunt.
Act 5, Scene 3, Field nearby St Albans. Retreat. Enter York, Richard, Warwick, and soldiers with drum and colours.
Of Salisbury, who can report of him? That winter lion who in rage forgets aged contusons and all the brush of time, and like a gallant in the brow of youth, repairs him with occasion.
Look, he comes!
Now, by my sword, well hast thou fought today. By the mass, so did we all. I thank you, Richard. Well, God knows how long it is I have to live. Well, lords, we have not got that which we have. 'Tis not enough our foes are this time fled, being opposites of such repairing nature.
I know our safety is to follow them, for as I hear the king is fled to London to call a present court of parliament. Let us pursue him ere the writs go forth.
After them, nay, before them, if we can. Now, by my faith, lords, 'twas a glorious day. St. Albans' battle, won by famous York, shall be eternized in all age to come. Sound drum and trumpets, and to London all, and more such days as these to us befall.
Exeunt. And ladies and gentlemen, here endeth Henry VI, Part 2. Ladies and gentlemen of the company, please bring your cameras back on, take your bows, give yourselves a hearty round of applause. Tremendous work, everyone. Phenomenal stuff, phenomenal stuff. Thank you all so much for that. That was absolutely a wonder for me to watch. I was as excited probably as anyone else, jumping out of my seat at several points there. I'd like to give a shout out to our resident fight choreographers, Yarit Dor and Enrique Ortuño, who made their cameos today via satellite technology, which is very impressive. And thank you, Sarah, as well, for stage managing that brand new bit of business that we had to deal with. So well done, everyone involved. Seamless stuff and great reactions coming in from our audience. The applause emojis are now flooding in throughout the live chats. Wonderful, wonderful.
I've got a couple of questions actually from earlier.
Oh, fabulous.
That I wanted to ask. So,
of course, yeah, let's jump right in.
One, a fun one that came through was what arrangements has everyone made in the house to block this time out? An example given was, have you duct taped kids to the wall?
Jack, I know you have kids.
Yeah, well, they're asleep now because it's quite late here. But as we were going live, my daughter was knocking at the door, just saying, "Daddy, Daddy." And I was like, "Shut up." He went to sleep.
Anybody else have to make some special arrangements to block out this time for the stream?
I did forget to tell my neighbours, so I might have to chat to them tomorrow.
In case they look through the window and see you covered in blood.
Yeah, they're below me.
Oh, are they? Right, fabulous.
Within his own house to a back room with the dog.
I gave my partner a bottle of rosé.
Bribes always effective, always effective. And Lynn, by the way, our audience are massive fans of dogs. So if you want to let that dog out of its corner now, please feel free. I'm sure everyone will be delighted to see them.
On the show, so they can see my dog.
That's it. We've got to reward the people who stay to the bitter end. Absolutely, absolutely. Fabulous, fabulous. Someone's asked how many different items were used as prop swords. I couldn't even hazard a guess at this point. Probably more than 15.
Yeah. Hold them up. Okay. The bloody knife is disturbing, isn't it?
Someone also mentioned, Doireann, about the fact that you just casually have a sword in the house.
Yeah, a friend of mine, his dad was in a theatre production of Peter Pan many decades ago, and for some reason the sword is in my house. I cannot tell you why, but I'm glad it was.
Me too, absolutely,
Always good to have a sword.
Oh, doggo alert! There we go.
Yeah. we did get asked actually last week. We never got round to answering the question, but why there were no dogs in the show, and it said that there aren't any mentions in the Henrys, although we did have a falcon, obviously this week.
You did,
We've had a dog falcon, yeah. So we've got.
Someone's also asking, Lynn, what was Suffolk's head made from?
Oh my God, can I show them?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Okay. Suffolk the butternut squash.
Amazing.
Your headshot, by the way.
Tastes like raspberry jam.
So much jam.
It feels like we all must taste a bit like raspberry jam at this point. Wendy holding up her blood bath there.
Amazing. I've got a couple of others from earlier as well. So someone had asked, so Margaret and Suffolk, how did you decide on how to play the parting scene?
Well, just Shakespeare helps decide a lot of that, and it's just a lot of the clues are in the text, as people always say, but it's just the thing. It's the moment when you actually see them earnestly in love for the first time. It's always hinted at and always spoken about, but you never actually see them in this beautiful moment. So just play it for kind of the truth of not wanting to go and just wanting to be together, but knowing you can't be. I guess. Does that go near it?
And it's weird because like they're portrayed in such, I mean, Margaret especially, like they're plotters and they're going against the crown, but they are still humans and still capable of things like love and heartbreak. And I think that this is one of my favorite roles because you get to see that people aren't just diabolical, like they do what they do for, and that makes them more human and complicated.
Absolutely. I think that's dead on. That Shakespeare's ability to create these kind of three-dimensional characters that can confound expectations, I think, is one of the reasons why he's endured as long as he has done. People, everyone in this play, it feels like to me, has some level of complexity to them that has the ability to surprise an audience, and I think that ultimately is the aim. We're continuing to keep our audience engaged and give them new dimensions, no matter kind of how deep we are into the play. It just kind of continues to unravel. It's really impressive.
We were in the backstage chat. We were fangirling over the nail varnish, Jack. So good.
Oh wait, you did it too? Oh yeah.
So it worked so well.
Absolutely. All these kind of things. Someone asked us a question earlier about, are we continuing to experiment? And it's like, well, very much yes. This is our fourth show in this medium ever. So I think there's probably plenty left for us to discover about the playing of it. But one of those things is that object permanence with that kind of semi-permeable membrane through the edge of the frame, and little details like that just really do bring it to life and really make it. Another example that got a lot of love, by the way, was the mop fight between our members of our ensemble. The ensemble in particular have had overwhelming support from our audience, by the way. Everyone's so impressed that we've managed to put on a play of this scale and with such variety as we have with this number of people, and that's in large part, or indeed in sole part, due to the incredible flexibility of all of you. So thank you so much for that. Really, really thank you.
Cool. I've got some more, so keep firing them out. So I had a question earlier for Buckingham. So someone said you have an amazing ease with the language. So I asked, what prep do you do, and what kind Shakespeare training do you have?
Well, I've been to drama school in the UK, as a lot of people here have. I've done a lot of Shakespeare, with various companies throughout my career. It's been a big part of my CV, I guess. Yeah, I think as someone else already said on it, Shakespeare does a lot of the work for you, really. He just gives you all the help you need. So if you just follow what he says, then it's kind of easy.
Awesome, thanks, Lachlan. Cool. So, I had one here. Someone I was asking about the gender blind casting. So it's a conversation we had quite a bit last week, actually. And this person has asked for the actresses in the company who have been playing a male character. Did you approach that character from a woman's perspective?
Well, the question was asked in our first rehearsal, which was a mere 3 days ago. Are we playing them as men, or are we just people who happen to be referred to as he, because that's what it says in the script, but are women, or actually it doesn't really matter what we are. And I think, I just went for a person. I didn't really think about whether I was a man or a woman. Maybe my pitch was slightly lower than it would have been if I'd been playing a woman. Not sure. I didn't really think about it much.
No, and I didn't either. And I think I was just going for the kind of main qualities that I saw in the character, which was sort of a huge amount of passion and a sense of duty and a sense of honor. And it just so happens that the Duke of Gloucester is actually quite emotional and quite feeling, which are maybe things that we more kind of traditionally associate with women, but I just don't think that really had anything to do with it. It's just about playing the character and playing that character's story and what their story contributes to the whole of the play.
And it's just so great to say those kind of words, It's just brilliant to have that.
And you say them so well.
Yes, I was just going to say the same.
Such a good job.
York, oh my God.
Back at you, dude.
No, just all of the girls in this. I feel like it's so nice just seeing someone do a role that's just like every single one of you just sort of mind it really well, and it's just such a pleasure to see. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a fabulous time watching, and it's one of those things that I'm kind of used to this in a way, because I do kind of cross-gender or gender-blind casting just in general, but it does keep coming up every week, and it's interesting that every week people's answers have some similar kind of themes in them, and I think really it's about finding that core of humanity that's in the character, which is a lot more universal than the kind of, I guess, the performance of gender, if you like, and certainly in like Elizabethan work like this, that can sometimes be, I guess, almost like a straitjacket for those female roles. But it's been wonderful as well. I mean, I've got to throw it out quickly as well to Doireann for Jack Cade. I mean, oh my word. Chaos reigns. So exciting.
And that doesn't have to be masculine,
Yeah.
I mean, we have, women, female gangs all over the world. We have, suffragettes for female terrorists, I mean, much more complicated than that, so yeah, I think violence is actually, I think women are very close to violence. I don't think there's any difference. And yeah, it's just freeing. You tend to have more fun when playing the male parts, but that's more with how they're being written.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, great fun to do.
Fabulous.
Amazing. Thanks, everyone. I've got a question for a lovely Duchess. Someone's asked here, was playing the Duchess, do you think the character is a little bit like an early Lady Macbeth?
Yes. Yeah. Gosh, I was half asleep here because I kind of, knocked off about 2 hours ago, I think. So I was just quite happily watching and being an audience member. But yeah. I love the emotional scope of the character. That was what drew me to asking Rob to cast me. Thank you. But yeah.
Thank you.
It was a very early sketch, I suspect, of Lady Macbeth.
Amazing. Yeah, it's brilliant seeing all of the kind of the ties with the characters in these early plays we've seen each week. Those little threads kind of connecting through, and interesting to sort of see how they develop. Charlene, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on like how those kind of threads from these early days?
I mean, sure, it's interesting to see how plot points return again. I think it's also interesting to look at what the other playwrights of the era were doing as well. And there's a lot to be mined when looking at kind of Marlowe and Shakespeare's race. When they're, you know, you look at Edward II and the Henry VI plays and Richard II, and a lot of those characters are talking back and forth, and that question of dramatizing a, you know, so-called weak king or a king that loses his power. And then you look at Isabella of France in Edward II, who was also called a she-wolf. And you feel like there's a conversation happening between that character and Margaret that I think is really interesting as well.
Amazing, thank you. Cool. So I've got one here actually, which is one that has come up a couple of times. We don't often have time to answer, sadly. But someone's asked, how do you get a career in acting in Shakespeare? Any tips from the cast?
You don't.
Great difficulty. With great difficulty.
Know
Yeah.
as well, if anyone knows. We know.
Yeah, we'd all love to know. We'd all love to know. No, it's I mean, you know, it's more of a portfolio than a career is probably what I would say. You know, these opportunities come around few and far between, so you've really got to leap on them when you get the opportunity. But Wendy, perhaps you can speak to this, because you've, if of anyone, you've probably been the person that's actually done it.
I think, well, if you're lucky, just got to keep reaching out and hopefully one will come. I guess many years ago there were more like places to do Shakespeare, but if you're lucky, I've been lucky. Thanks, guys. Nice.
I think it's a metaphor for being an actor, though, isn't it? You know, really, having a career as an actor is very haphazard and full of fortunate twists and turns. It's the same, and it depends. And if you want to point yourself towards Shakespeare, that's your choice, and it has to be your passion, as does being an actor. There's no two ways about that.
I think if you immerse yourself in it a lot, you tend to attract it. I think, because I have done, I think, occasionally, because I like this, just immersed. And so you pick up when it's being done, because your antenna is tuned, I think. I don't know, it's not very...
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think, you know, I've been kind of specialising, for lack of a better word, in Shakespeare for the better part of 5 years, and even now I just feel like I'm only starting to see the iceberg, as it were. You know, you kind of see the obvious things, you know, the Globe and the RSC and whatnot, and that's all well and good, but there's so much more of this work going on, and much of it incredibly exciting and incredibly vibrant and different and innovative. And, you know, I feel like as a result as well of this project and meeting all of you, you know, many of whom for the first time, and some for the second, Ali. Thank you very much for coming back. But yeah, just meeting new people every single week through something like this, I'm finding out more and more about the kind of work that's being done out there. So yeah, I think immersion is a great tip for sure.
And there's quite a lot of stuff going on, particularly at the moment because of the lockdown and things. Like there's a hashtag on Twitter called Read a Sonnet, and loads and loads of people are reading Shakespeare sonnets, including me. But I mean, even Sir Patrick is reading Shakespearean sonnets, and lots of people are doing it. And anybody can do that. You can just throw yourself in. And, you know, as Wendy was saying, just do it in whatever way that you can. And then, you know, the opportunities hopefully will come. I mean, when I left drama school, all I wanted to do was work at the RSC, and it took me about 20 years, you know, to get in. So it's not easy, but, you know, if you love Shakespeare, then, you know, there are a million different ways that you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been an actor. I've been out of drama school for 16 years, and I've done a lot of Shakespeare, and I've never been paid for it. I have always opted to do it with a company that is putting on some crazy production for free, like this. And so that's how much I love it, and that's how much I want to do it and get so excited about it. And then sometimes other people pay me to do other stuff.
I was going to say same as Lynsey. It's, if you love doing Shakespeare and you want to sort of crack into it, it's just a matter of getting a bunch of mates together and just sort of putting something on. And who knows where that might go? It might end up being something as big as this, or something even bigger, or something just for the group of you to enjoy. But generally, the rule that I've sort of followed is what you love will show. So if you love doing Shakespeare, people will be attracted to that, and hopefully one thing will lead to another.
Yeah, I'd say as well, don't be intimidated by it. I think a lot of people feel there's a certain way to do Shakespeare, and there's so many amazing companies doing really exciting stuff with it. There's loads of great companies in Europe, in Poland, in Germany, doing amazing stuff with Shakespeare. So don't feel you've got to do it a certain way. Just, play with it, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, they even said, Ben Jonson even wrote that about him after he died. He was not for an age, but for all time. Right from the moment that, for lack of a better word, the legend was born. Like, it's not something that belongs to just a specific group of people. Like, this is a body of work that belongs to everyone. And there's no right answer. And what this work means to you, that's what it means. And that's what you have to bring to it. And I think that's what's so exciting. He never answers a question. He always poses a question. And whatever answer you come up with is gonna continue to bring that, you're gonna be taking the torch and bringing it down the next mile. And it will keep this work alive.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. That's been so inspiring and so useful, and the audience have been really enjoying those conversations. So I think we're all out with our questions.
Wonderful, fabulous. Well, at this point then, I'd just like to thank you all for watching. I'd like to thank you all for staying till the bitter end to enjoy some conversation with our actors as well. If you would like to support the actors involved, then please do feel free to consider donating to the Patreon. You can also subscribe to this page, and we will see you next week with Henry VI Part 3. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you then.